Diciamo che finisce una I'd like to welcome you to this video to you now, Lord, part of the Lord Christ, University, the University for Community Development and Investigation. Distinguished presenters, guests, this is the series who is related from the search in dialogues within Muslim community. It is our tradition here at Kwara University to begin every event program with the we all these rights to take itself out of Ladies and gentlemen, on the gather next week, my name is Happy Formation. I'll be your guide throughout today's live event. But before we go, this is going to invite Malam Miru Adili to read from the glorious Quran. A round of applause.
Mike, first.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم على من الشتاء حتى يكون ولا يكون خير ولا يكون المشركين حتى يؤمنوا ولعلهم يؤمن خير من مشرك ولو أعجبهم أولئك يدعون إلى آيات للناس لعلهم يتذكرون ويسألونك عن المحيط
كل ما فاعتبروا أجمعين فلا تقربوهن حتى يطهرن فإذا تطهرن فأتوهن من حيث أمركم الله إن الله يحب التوابين ويحب المتطهرين نساؤكم حرث لكم فأتوا حرثكم أنى شئتم وقدموا لأنفسكم واتقوا الله واعلموا أنكم ملاقوه وبشر المؤمنين ولا تجعلوا الله عرضة لأيمانكم أن تبروا وتتقوا وتصلحوا بين الناس والله سميع عليم لا يؤاخذكم الله باللغو في أيمانكم ولكن يؤاخذكم بما كسبت قلوبكم والله غفور حليم للذين يؤلون من نسائهم تربص 4 أشهر فإن فاءوا فإن الله غفور رحيم وإن عزموا الطلاق فإن الله سميع عليم والمطلقات يتربصن بأنفسهن 3 قروء ولا يحل لهن أن يكتمن ما خلق الله في أرحامهن إن كن يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر وبعولتهن أحق بردهن في ذلك إن أرادوا إصلاحا ولهن مثل الذي عليهن بالمعروف وللرجال عليهن درجة والله عزيز حكيم الطلاق مرتان فإمساك بمعروف أو تسريح بإحسان ولا يحل لكم أن تأخذوا مما آتيتموهن شيئا إلا أن يخافا ألا يقيما حدود الله فإن خفتم ألا يقيما حدود الله فلا جناح عليهما فيما افتدت به تلك حدود الله فلا تعتدوها ومن يتعد حدود الله فأولئك هم الظالمون فإن طلقها فلا تحل له من بعد حتى تنكح زوجا غيره فإن طلقها فلا جناح عليكم أن يتراجعوا فإن طلقها فلا جناح عليهما أن يتراجعا إن ظنا أن يقيما حدود الله وتلك حدود الله يبينونها لقوم يعلمون وإذا طلقتم النساء فبلغن أجلهن فإذا طلقتم النساء فبلغن أجلهن فأمسكوهن بمعروف أو سرحوهن بمعروف ولا تمسكوهن ضرارا لتعتدوا ومن يفعل ذلك فقد ظلم نفسه ولا تتخذوا آيات الله هزوا واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم وما أنزل عليكم من الكتاب والحكمة يعظكم به واتقوا الله واتقوا الله واعلموا أن الله بكل شيء عليم. وإذا طلقتم النساء فبلغن أجلهن فلا تعضلوهن أن ينكحن أزواجهن بالمعروف ذلك يوعظ به من كان منكم يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر ذلك يوعظ به من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر ذلكم أزكى لكم وأطهر ذلكم أزكى لكم وأطهر والله عليم بما يفعلون. اللهم ارحمنا بالقرآن واجعله لنا إماما ونورا وهدى ورحمة. اللهم ذكرنا منه ما نسينا وعلمنا منه ما جهلنا وارزقنا تلاوته آناء الليل وأطراف النهار واجعله عدة لنا ولا تجعله عدة علينا واجعلنا ممن يقرأه فيرقى ولا تجعلنا ممن يقرأه فيضل ويشقى. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Takbir. The chairman of the location, Honorable Justice, the Grand Cardinal, Kwara State Sheriff. I'd like to welcome you, sir, to this great occasion. The acting Vice Chancellor, Kwara State University, Malete, the Green University for Community Development and Entrepreneurship, ably represented by the Director of Strategic Planning Unit, Kwara State University, Professor Musbao Akanji, Honorable Justices of the Sharia Court of Appeal, Kwara State, here present, the Dean Faculty of Law, Kwara State University, heads of departments, Kwara State University, staff, directors of centers, Kwara State University, staff of this glorious institution. I'd like to welcome you to this event once again. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to welcome to our midst a man that needs no introduction, but I want to introduce him. He is the Grand Cardinal, Kwara State Sharia Court of Appeal, Honorable Justice Abdulatif Kamaluddin Takbir. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I also like to introduce to this gathering the acting Vice Chancellor of Kwara State University, Malete, Professor Sheikh Lukman Jima, ably represented by a one-time Vice Chancellor, University of Technology, Mina, one-time Vice Chancellor, Al-Hikmah University, and he is currently the Director of Strategic Planning for Kwara State University, Professor Musbao Akanji. A round of applause for him. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome to this gathering and also recognize Honorable Judge A.B. Yaya Takbir. I also like to recognize and welcome to this gathering Professor Azizat Amoloye Adebayo. She is the HOD Islamic Law, University of Ilorin. Takbir. I also like to welcome and recognize Dr. Mrs. Balikis Amoloye. Takbir.
I also like to welcome and recognize Professor N.A.O. Ijaya. Takbir. Okay, he is representing the Dean, Faculty of Law, Professor Y.D.U. Ambali. I would like to recognize the National President, Muhyiddin Association of Nigeria, Alhaji Abdul Mumin Ibrahim. Takbir. I also have the pleasure of introducing and welcoming Imam Ibrahim Al-Khali Oloji. Takbir. I also like to welcome and recognize Honorable Zakariyat Mukaddar. Takbir. And it's my pleasure to introduce and welcome to this gathering the Director of University Relations, my boss, Associate Professor Saidat Aliyu. Takbir. I also like to welcome Barrister Abdulatif Abdullahi as for DC.
One of the panelists.
He is the proprietor and founder of Mudawiya Consult, and is also one of the Muwada Consult, and is also one of the panelists. Takbir. I also like to recognize Honorable Justice Abdurrahim A. Shahi, a Qadi from the Kwara State Sharia Court of Appeal, and is also a panelist here. Takbir. I also like to welcome Alhaji Olalekan Gadiyat and Alhaja. I also like to welcome Alhaji Jafar Abibulai Abubakar from the Faculty of Law and Mrs. Ridwan Yaya Isa. And last but not the least here, we have like to recognize and welcome A.O. Abdul, representing Professor Yusuf Olaolu Ali San.
Representing the entourage of the Grand Cadi from Sharia Court of Appeal.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to recognize on the entourage of the Honorable Justice Abdulatif Kamaldeen, the Grand Cadi of Kwara, the Sharia Court of Appeal.
Chairman.
He is the chairman. To introduce you and welcome Honorable Justice Moshood Adebayo Oniye. Takbir. I also like to welcome Honorable Justice Zakariyat Dago Abdul. Takbir. I also like to recognize and welcome Honorable Justice Sharafuddin An-Nafi. Takbir. Permit me, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome Honorable Justice Abdurrahim Ahmad Shahi Adari. He's also in the entourage of the Honorable Grand Cadi of the Sharia Court of Appeal Kwara State. And last but not the least, it's my pleasure, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to welcome and recognize Honorable Chief Registrar Alhaja Mustafa Hassanat Lakweri. Takbir. At this juncture, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to invite the HOD of the Department of Islamic Law, Faculty of Law, Kwara State University, for his welcome address. A round of applause for Professor Abdul Wahab LS. Let him finish his address.
Please give Mom and the center.
I'll get their names from you.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين والصلاة والسلام الأتمان الأكملان على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. The acting Vice Chancellor, Professor Sheikh Lukman Nujima, represented by Professor Misbahuddin Haji, the Dean of Faculty of Law, Professor Y.D.U. Hambali, also ably represented by our own father, Professor N.A.O. Ijaya. The HODs here present, members of the Faculty of Law, Kwara State University, the chairman of this occasion, Honorable Grandfather Kwara State, the Lord Justice Abdul Latif Jamaluddin, and the entire members and families of Kwara State. The honorable panelists invited guests. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In Islam, nikah, loosely translated as marriage, is intended to be a lifetime institution and program. This intended life institution will come to an end via various ways, including talaq, divorce. Apart from the death, Islam frowns at other ways of the solution of marriage. In fact, talaq is like death to marriage alive, as the death is also to human life. Although death is inevitable, while divorce, according to Sharia, must be prevented at all costs. This is the noble intent and objective of Sharia, which makes talaq as the least we can say is that is halalun muharramun at the same time. The Messenger of Almighty Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in his hadith reported by Al-Imam al-Nasa'i wa Tirmidhi and been authenticated by Imam Ibn Hibban rahimahullah ta'ala, said, "Ihdharu min hadhihi al-ladhat." That is, Muslims should often beware of the destroyer of pleasures, which is death. As we equalize talaq to death, that means Muslims should always and try as much as possible to prevent occurrence of talaq. Notwithstanding, it is of this allowable intent, it is not becoming noticeable the rampant occurrence of divorce among Muslim communities. That is why the Department of Islamic Law, Kwara State University, in its wisdom, decided as the role to break the ground on this occasion, under the able chairmanship of our Fadilatul Sheikh Abdul Latif Jamaluddin, the Honorable Grandfather of Sharia Court of Appeal, the chairman of this occasion, it's our candid belief that the stakeholders shall find the discussions of this symposium very beneficial. I thank all the family members of the Faculty of Law. I thank the Dean, represented by our own Professor Najimuddin Ijaya. I thank Dean Dr. Wopa, you are welcome, Ma. I thank the Director of University Relations, Professor Zaida, Ma, you are welcome. I thank the employees here present. I thank all the family members of the faculty, as I said, and also I sincerely appreciate my colleagues in the Department of Islamic Law, Kwara State University, Malete, Professor Ijaya, so our father in the department, Dr. Abdullah Salihu Ishola, Dr. Aisha Abdul Zubair, who is happened to be the chairman of the committee of seminar and conferences of the department. I thank you all and the team that has been working very seriously to make this occasion a successful one. I thank the university management for their support, and I thank the members of the Kwara State Committee, our invited guests, gentlemen of the press, and other supporting staff here present. On this occasion, I thank the chief imam of Malete, Dr. Abdullahi Ibrahim, and the entire family members of Malete communities and its environment. I want to use this opportunity to thank the National Chairman of Muhyiddin Association of Nigeria, Al-Hajj Abdul Mumin Ibrahim Olontele. I welcome you all and I wish you happy listening. Jazakumullahu khairan.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The Vice Chancellor, Professor Sheikh Luqman, ably represented by Professor Musbah Akonji, the registrar, the bursar, the university librarian, deans of faculties, the chairman of the occasion, the Honorable Grand Qadi of Kwara State Sharia Court of Appeal, all justices of the Sharia Court of Appeal here present, I'll stand on all other existing protocols. On behalf of the Dean of the Faculty of Law, Professor Y.D.U. Ambali, who is presently in Saudi Arabia for his Hajj, I welcome you all to this great occasion. Let me begin by appreciating the organizers of this event for their thoughtfulness in selecting this topic. This topic is not only germane to the ongoing debate in respect of matrimonial disputes, especially divorce cases, but also its effect on the society at large. For some of us who have had the privilege at one time or the other to handle matrimonial cases, I must confess that the rate of divorce is not only alarming, but embarrassing. I hope that the panelists will do justice to this topic, and everyone here present will have something to learn. Once again, on behalf of the Dean of the Faculty, I welcome everybody, and I wish you happy listening. Thank you.
Honorable Grand Qadi of Kwara State Sharia Court of Appeal, Justices of Sharia Court of Appeal here present, representative of Dean of Law, Chief Imam of Malete, members of the university community, distinguished invited guests, our dear students, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the acting Vice Chancellor, Professor Sheikh Lukman Jima, who is unavoidably absent, I wish to welcome all of you, especially the team from the Sharia Court of Appeal, led by Honorable Grand Kadi himself, to our university, the Green University for Community Development and Entrepreneurship. The Vice Chancellor, the acting Vice Chancellor, plan to be here, especially when we have august visitor, the person of Honorable Grand Kadi and his team on our university ground. Yesterday, the meeting of Governing Council was summoned to take place today in Ilorin. He has asked me to apologize most profusely. He would have loved to welcome you himself. It's not every time we have distinguished personality visiting our campus. Please kindly accept his apology. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the topic of our discourse this morning is very, very germane. Anybody that has a perception of life will see the rate at which our children are divorcing themselves. For our Department of Islamic Law to put this program together and to draw this type of audience, I think it deserves commendation. On behalf of the university, I want to commend the department and the faculty. Universities all over the world are supposed to examine issues of community interest and bring it to the fore of discourse. It is not easy bringing this type of panelists together. It's not easy. We are sure to listen to educative suggestions, propositions on why divorce is on the increase and what we will do as parents, as spouses, to stem the rate at which divorce cases are taking place. I want to thank you for coming. I welcome you, and I want you to sit back and listen to our panelists. Thank you very much. On behalf of Acting Vice Chancellor, I declare this symposium open.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, sir. At this juncture, my pleasure to invite the chairman of the application for his opening remarks. A round of applause for the Honorable Grand Kadi of the Sharia Court of Appeal for our state.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أحمدك ربي وأستعينك وأثني عليك وأتوكل عليك. أنت حسبي، أنت نعم المولى ونعم النصير. صلاة وسلاما على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحابته الذين أحيوا سنته على طول المدى. ثم ما بعد. The acting Vice Chancellor, Professor Sheikh Lukman Jima, heavily represented by our father, our mentor, Professor Misbawa Kaji, the Deputy Vice Chancellor here present, the Registrar, the University Bossa and the Librarian, the Dean of Law in person of Professor YDU Hambali, heavily represented by Professor N.O. Ijaya, the HOD Islamic Law, Professor Abdul Wahab, MJ Elesi, my lords, Honorable Justices of Kwara State Sharia Court of Appeal, the Chief Registrar, Kwara State Sharia Court of Appeal, the management staff of Sharia Court of Appeal here present, the distinguished panelists, our Chief Imam of Malete, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Permit me to start my speech by giving thanks to the Creator of heaven and earth, whose favor upon each and every one of us cannot be quantified. May the peace and blessing of Allah be upon his noble prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his household, companions, and those that follow his path till eternity. It is pertinent to recognize and appreciate the efforts of the organizers of this program for the work well done to gather jurists and the academics in a place like this. I appreciate you and acknowledge your commitments. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to be with you at all times. It is also remarkable and commendable that the topic chosen for today's panel is a contemporary topic, as it affects all and sundry in our society, where marriages are broken unreasonably and the lifespan of the union between husband and wife is getting interrupted along the way. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, the competent hands are choosing to enlighten the audience on the Islam topic. Marriage under Islamic law is a defined union. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created man, and from him, he created his partner, that is Adam and Hawa. This creation of pair was unprecedented, as Adam was the first creature of Allah on the earth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it known to us that getting married is not an innovation to the human race, as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam before him got married to their partners through the commandment of the Almighty Allah, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا رُسُلًا مِنْ قَبْلِكَ وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُمْ أَزْوَاجًا وَذُرِّيَّةً. Meaning, we have already sent messengers before you, Muhammad, and assigned to them wives and descendants. Therefore, it can be easily deduced from the above passage of Quran that marriage is not alien to Muslims. Ladies and gentlemen, it is worthy to note that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala introduced the solution of marriage between couples when needs arises. The marriage is expected to be a means of satisfaction and happiness for the couples, and even for the products of the marriage. When otherwise is prevailing among them, the marriage will be considered unfruitful and hostile. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, Islam has given us, in sequence, solutions to a marriage of unfaithfulness. The solution of marriage is not the first step to take after mislead.
As for women whose behavior is not friendly, Allah sees
them in their beds and discipline them. But if they obey you, seek no way against them. Allah is high and great. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an indication that human beings are prone to mistake in their dealings within themselves and expected to do a necessary correction when their attention are called. Brothers and sisters in Islam, it is my hope that the panelists are competent to do justice to this topic with their wealth of knowledge and experience. I also want to recognize and appreciate a synergy created between Sharia Court of Appeal, Kwara State, and the Department of Islamic Law, Kwara State University, Malete. And it is my belief that this synergy will be of benefit for both bodies. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, it is my pleasure to inform this gathering that the proposed review of Sharia Court of Appeal laws and rules is in progress for the expansion of its jurisdiction, such as asset distribution under Islamic law, Islamic dispute resolution, Usra desk, that is marriage counseling, issuance of marriage certificates and letter of administration, administration of waqf, that is endowment, wasiya, bequest, and mosque, Islamic and mosque, and the administration of mosque, and Islamic fabric and other related matters. On this note, I want to use this medium to urge and advise all fellow Muslims to consider Sharia Court of Appeal Kwara State as the point of response to their needs and solutions to the societal problem. Thank you so much for rapt attention. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, sir. I'm most welcome. Thank you. My love. Most welcome. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. تمام. أسعد الله أيامكم. أسعد الله أيامكم. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, sir.
Okay.
The acting Vice Chancellor of our Dean Faculty of Law, Honorable Justices of the Sharia Court of Appeal for our state here present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to welcome to this gathering and introduce the Chief Imam of Malete. He's a staff of our State University. I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Abdullah Ibrahim Salahuddin. Takbir. And I also like to welcome to this gathering Chief Imam from Okuru, Malete community. I also like to welcome Chief Imam of Aku Gunia and also the Chief Imam of Japa. I also like to welcome the Chief Imam of Ite, the Chief Imam of Yala, the Chief Imam of Jeonkuno, the Chief Imam of Omoni, and last but not the least, Chief Imam of Agbegba. Takbir. At this juncture, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to invite Dr. Mrs. Aisha Abdelkadir Subak to take over proceedings from me. A round of applause for her, please.
Thank you very much.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. I welcome you all to this. So with the kind of permission of the chairman, sir, I would like to invite our panelists. And as I'm calling them, I'll be reading their citation. So my name is Dr. Aisha Abdelkadir Zubair, and my job here is to moderate the session and to make it a lively one. And permit me to also say that we have in our midst community members, leaders, the chief imam. So at intervals, we will be having both Yoruba and English in a mixture. Also, the panelists will be trying to speak so that we'll get an all-inclusive program. So with the permission of the chairman, sir, I would like to invite our first panelist, Professor Azizat Omotoyosi Amoloyi Adebayo. She is the HOD of the Islamic Law Department, University of Ilorin, Faculty of Law, University of Ilorin. 。 . 。  . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 .
. 。 . 。 . 。 .
。 . Thank you very much, ma'am. Professor Aziza Omotoyese Amolori Adebayo holds an LLB degree in Common and Islamic Law from Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto, and an LLM degree from the University of Ibadan, Nigeria. She also holds a PhD degree in Sharia and International Human Rights Law from the University of Nottingham, United Kingdom. She's a professor and the head of Department of Islamic Law, Faculty of Law, University of Ilorin, Nigeria. She's also former Deputy Director at the University of Ilorin Consultancy Services, the coordinator, University of Ilorin Muslim Ladies Circle, and one of the vice chairpersons of the University of Ilorin Muslim Community. She is a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, a Commonwealth scholar, the vice president of the Commonwealth Scholars and Fellows Alumni Association of Nigeria, and associate of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, Nigeria and United Kingdom, a non-resident visiting fellow of the ICLARS, UTA USA, an African Humanities Program Fellow, American Council of Learned Studies, and a research fellow at the Research Institute for Theology and Religion, University of South Africa, 2022 to 2025. Her research interests and areas of publication are Islamic law, international human rights law, human rights violations, rights of persons with disabilities, Islamic law of inheritance, Islamic family law, issues in law and religion, gender issues in law, and feminist theories and Islam. She has contributed chapters and is lead author of works in edited volumes such as Judicial Dialogue and Human Rights, Cambridge University Press, Achieving Sustainable Energy for All in Africa, Oxford University Press, Law and Religion in the Commonwealth, The Evolution of Case Law, Heart Publishing, and Religion and National Security, forthcoming 2024. Please welcome her again with a round of applause. Next, I'll be calling on Honorable Justice Abdulrahim Sai of the Sharia Court of Appeal Ilorin. Please let me lead into the stage. Mr. Chairman, sir, permit me to read his citation as well. Honorable Justice Abdulrahim Ahmed Sai is a Qadi judge of the Sharia Court of Appeal, Kwara State of Nigeria. Prior to his appointment, he was a legal practitioner and consultant of about 2 decades at the bar and Qadi Independent Sharia Panel of Lagos State. He was the pioneer CEO of Clear Path Islamic Center, Lekki, Lagos, and has authored a number of works and has to his credit several valuable and high-profile lectures and presentations. He has a great passion for impactful impartial and strong bias for Islamic law, especially the relevance and effective application of Islamic law within the context and dynamics of contemporary intricacies. Hence, special interest in Islamic commercial law, fiqh mu'amalat, juristic exertion, ijtihad, basis of legal opinion, usul fiqh, philosophy, rationale and integument of Islamic law, maqasid sharia, and Islamic procedural law, moral affairs. Justice Sai is a life ambassador of peace, conferred by Legacy International Center, Accra, Ghana, a recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award by African Update International Magazine and African Achievers Forum, Accra, Ghana, and National Humanitarian Icon Award by Majestic Global Publication, Abuja, Nigeria, and several other numerous awards and certificates of merit. Please welcome me again with a round of applause. I also like to invite to the High Table Honorable Judge A.B. Yahya. Thank you, sir. Honorable Judge Abdulrahman Babatunde Yahya is a distinguished legal professional with a passion for the advancement of justice and the development of the law. He was born in Ilorin and also an indigene of Kwara State, Abdulrahman has built a remarkable career in the legal field after being called to the Nigerian bar in 2009. He began his legal practice at Adoseko and Co. before being appointed as an area court judge in 2016. Since then, he has presided over various area courts, including Upper Area Court 1, Ilorin, Upper Area Court Offa, Okiode, Igbaja, Afan, Bala, Erinle, Alapa, Labaka Oja, and currently presiding over Area Court Kwara, demonstrating his dedication and expertise in the judiciary. Abdulrahman is a polyglot, speaking English, Yoruba, Hausa, and Arabic fluently. His commitment to the judiciary has earned him recognition as the most outstanding member of the judiciary by the Kwara State government in 2022. He remains devoted to the development of the law and the advancement of Islamic law. Please give him a round of applause again. And finally, our last panelist is Barrister Abdulateef Asudesi. Please welcome him on stage. Thank you, sir. Abdulateef Lanre Abdullah, also known as Ibn Abdullah Asudesi Al-Ilori, is a lawyer, marriage counselor, writer, reciter, and public affairs analyst. He graduated from the University of Ilorin in 2009. He was Amir Ilorin chapter between 2008 and 2009. He attended Abuja Law School campus and was called to the bar in 2010. He joined the service of the Nigerian Copyright Commission in 2013 as a prosecutor for the copyright offenders. He has 4 professional certificates of the World Intellectual Property Organization to his credit. Abdulateef is the founder and proprietor of Mawada Consults, form of Islamic family counseling in Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria. So far, he has written 3 beneficial books, one of which is the best-selling Halal Intimacy from the Islamic Perspective, published in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. He is also the author of 50 Common Bid'ah Religious Innovations in Our Contemporary World, as well as Polygyny with Mercy, Synopsis on Plural Marriage According to Islamic Law. He is happily married with children. And thank you all for coming. I'm sure you agree with me that we have 50 panelists, and we assure you that you're going to enjoy every bit of this session. With the kind permission of the chairman of this occasion, we'll begin the panel immediately. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. Huh? What about the other? No, I will leave it. Okay. I should move it more. I should move it.
The chairman, Muslim Lawyer Association of the Nigeria Kwara State Chapter, and also lecturer at the Department of Islamic Law, Faculty of Law, University of Ilorin. Also, we welcome the secretary, the modern secretary, Kwara State Chapter, Mr. Malik Abdul Majid. Also, we welcome the Chief Registrar from Sheraton Papiri, and the Deputy Chief Registrar from Sheraton Papiri, Dr. Mubi Usman. We also welcome from our Faculty of Law, Dr. Mrs. Akintoye. You are welcome.
We'll begin the session. I'd like to start from mother. Cultural and societal information and dynamics of marriage. And why else? Actually, I don't think it was,
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Permit me to take just a minute to appreciate the organizers and to appreciate the composition of the panel. And to say that I do not feel outnumbered. The moderator is finally a woman. Because I thought the poster, the chairman is a man, the panelists are men, and I thought maybe I'm just here for a presentation. But alhamdulillah, that we are one of each other. My Lord, Honorable Justice Ahmad Abraham Sai is my senior in school and therefore my mentor. So I'm called a mother, we are connected. My Lord, the judge, is also my in-law, married to my younger sister. Now, Daisy is my younger brother and my student, and now a renowned author. So I'm looking with pride. So if I sit there and I say that in all the three capacities, I'm also replicated. I think you can see the essence of why we are here today. That we are one. Now, for my own topic, cultural and societal influences on marital dynamics, examine the role of culture and societal norms in shaping expectations and behaviors within Muslim marriage. Now, to relate this to the theme, what is the role of culture in marriage? And as a brief introduction, would say that culture is context. That culture is context. So now, although we're talking about who is to be blamed for the high incidence of divorce, and maybe I should start briefly from there. We will be, in one family, and the expiration period for marriages. Some people say that there is a timeline. If it lasts for 3 months, in fact, Allah has left the union because they have a time to consummate, and the wife has a child. So there's something that hides them because if it doesn't happen within 3 months, there will be no child. And it's very, very disconcerting that this should be happening within Muslim community. And the organizers have rightly identified that maybe some of the cultures are more active. And at times when we talk about those things, we say that culture is a factor because people live religion or culture, or that they validate certain cultural practices and call them religion. Pé bóyá àwọn àṣà kan tí ò dáa tó ti wọnú ẹ̀sìn ló ń fa gbọ́n sí omi òtó nítorí wípé ọ̀tọ̀ ní ìtọ́jú ẹ̀sìn sọ, ọ̀tọ̀ ní ìtọ́jú sí àṣà sọ. And my own point is to start from the fact that culture is actually context, and that there's nothing wrong with culture. Because cultural practices are called practices. We don't say cultural principles, we say practices. Because cultural practices are meant to what enact principles. So culture is the context of how we live and work. So the rituals of culture, what principles now does is to give backing for those cultures. So religion expressed as the culture of an area, and as Muslim, the culture of any Muslim will be the tenet of Islam. So it means that the culture should then give backing to marriage principles. So where culture will be back is where cultural practices are just practices. and they are learned as practices without an appreciation of the principle behind the practice. So when culture is just a practice that is replicated over time, it tends to expire. But when culture is affirmed as giving human context to a principle that cannot be felt, that can't be seen, but is observed through how we talk, how we relate to each other, then if that is that connection, we say the culture is rooted in principle, and there is nothing wrong, particularly for Muslim, Islamic culture, the culture of every Muslim. So I think we'll continue with that discussion, and my introduction is that there is nothing wrong with our culture, but perhaps we are disconnected with the principle behind those cultures. And what's the principle, time-held principle of marriage? We get to it. What is the maqsad? What is the objective of marriage? What is the principle of marriage? And how is it tied to what is happening culturally? So that if they are aligning, we shouldn't be having breakdowns that lead to divorce. Salam alaikum for now. Thank you very much.
The members of the audience, I hope there's somebody here that doesn't speak Yoruba. Yeah, we can go. It's going to be looking at the legal rights and protections for Muslim women in marriage. That is exploring the legal framework and Islamic jurisprudence that safeguard the rights of Muslim women or spouses in general. So
let me first make some introductory remarks and understanding of the existing protocol already made by my sister. And I also repeat my salutation to the support audience, ending personalities seated before social. My first observation will be with regards to the concept of right. I am saying this particularly because this is a faculty of the law, like a department of the faculty of law, and we have both Islamic law and the common law are being studied simultaneously. So there is a high tendency of either of the law being on the law consciously or unconsciously. And there is also a high tendency of either of them being impacted unintentionally most of the times, by the other. And in most cases, I would say Islamic law is always a victim of unintentional impact by the common law. And this reminds me of the saying I had from our father, blessed memory, late Justice Ambali, who would always warn against printing Islamic law in the negative of the common law. You know, in those days when we used to have a printed picture and also a negative. And that is to say, let me go directly to the answer. You see, in Islam, the approach is a bit different. The emphasis in Islam is more on duty and not on right. Our fathers are here. When you start the elementary learning of Islamic, and I would not like to trace this to the roots of some of the medical problems, excessive emphasis on light and less attention being paid to duties and obligations in matrimony is one of the root causes of breakages of home. When you start providing Islam in those days, after you have assaulted Al-Quran and you wanted to start living, there used to be this form called Tawhid Islam. You start with the Mahu al Islam, Mahu al Iman. The next is Man huwa al-Mukallaf. Islam is about that lead. Àwọn bàbá wọn bá wọn ṣàbàtẹ wọn ò ní bọ́ bá fẹ́ fi wọn ò ká ní ẹni tá a la ẹ̀sìn pọ̀ lọ́rùn. Even in the study of Islamic jurisprudence, you learn that Islamic law is basically divided jurisdically two, al-hukm al-wad'i and al-hukm al-taqlifi. And all that you are going to study at the end of the day in Islamic jurisprudence will be all out from various classifications of al-ahkam al-taqlifiyya. I want to emphasize on this, so that we should know that when we discuss Islamic law, when we are talking about rights in relation to duties, the orientation of the Sharia is that which emphasizes more on taklif, more on each and every one of us being more concerned about discharging his own duties and obligations. And that is how rights of others will be taken care of. If I am dutiful about my obligation, the rights of others will be guaranteed. So long I am dutiful about my own obligation. That's one observation. Sorry to you. And then secondly, when we even talk about rights or duties, I also don't want us to be too legalistic about it, because we are in the faculty of law. Extreme legalism really brings more problems than solutions. When we talk of rights and duties in marriage, we should be broad. There are moral rights that should be emphasized. There are, of course, I will call it spiritual duties and obligations in marriage, which also should be emphasized. The attitude of a Muslim, especially in marital relations, I think the emphasis should be on a disposition that will be eschatological in outlook, such that every Muslim sees himself more primarily responsible to the Creator, to the aftermath or consequences of his actions, not only in the later years in this world, but what will also be the consequence of these actions in the hereafter. Sharia is not a product of positivist theory or all these, it is in this broad sense that I would like us to do. So maybe I should make this before we now begin, so that when I speak about legal rights and obligations in Islam, rights or obligations in marital institutions or responsibilities, I will be confined to the legal aspect, because legalism is only a means, a mechanism to clearly define some other standards that are superior to legalism. So it is not the end in itself, it is just a means to attain.
Yeah, on that, I'm particularly happy that you're also making the mention of the protection of women or spouses. I know you are going to be on our side this. So whenever every has been giving us his perspective on the economic empowerment and the impacts on marital relations. We know how hard the economy is now, and a lot of people have been saying that it has been impacting even on street marriages. Would like to very open.
My Lord, and on the team, I would like to applaud the speaking. Want to appreciate your area of this continually not my knowledge of period and math of government and banner.
give me the wisdom to discharge the duty as expected. And it means, Mr. Chairman, I want to recognize the presence of my chairman at the area port, Honorable George Abdullah Hamid, and my learned brother that just came in now. The topic just given to me is the act of marriage. Because we said economic empowerment. As the sentence implies, economic empowerment. It's talking about economic power, that is ability to provide for yourself and for those people under you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Allah says, الرجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل الله بعضهم على بعض. That is Surah 4, verses 37. Surah An-Nisa. And also in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah also says, وَعَلَى الْمَوْلُودِ لَهُ رِزْقُهُنَّ وَكِسْوَتُهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. These two ayahs signify the role of a man in a marriage. The husband is the provider for the successfulness of every marriage. In a marriage where there is disagreement, even that can lead to this domestic violence, it comes from where there is no proper financial agent of the family. Whether or not the cultural issue or whatever, everything goes into the issue of money. This issue of economic empowerment even starts from where the marriage is being conducted. The husband has to pay dowry. For the without mahar, as we know in Islamic students, there is no proper marriage. So that signifies the essence of financial capability and capacity in a marriage. And this factor plays numerous roles in the quality of family relationship. He said of one of our scholars saying, "Asefina la tejini fil ardi." A boat cannot move or sail on a sound without flowing of water. So where there is no flow of finance, the marriage tends to have problems. Kí n sọ ní Yorùbá díẹ̀, gbogbo ìdílé pátápátá tí jíjẹ mímu wọn bá ti ṣòro, ìyàwó inú ilé wọn di ìyàwó yà, ọmọ inú ilé wọn dọmọ ọlọ́mọ. Gbogbo ìjà tí àwọn èèyàn jà ní domestic violence, international violence, ó wá láti inú pé ara ń kan oníkálùkù. Because of this economic factor, it has caused a lot of strain, stress in the family. In fact, it affects intimacy. Ọkùnrin tó bá rí ìrònú dáadáa tó nìkan tó fẹ́ ṣe inú ilé rẹ̀, kó dára ní ó ti máa dìde sí àwọn òun. Kó ní kí o ṣe ní tú. Ó ṣe pàtàkì púpọ̀ ká ronú pé ọ̀nà wo láàgbà láti mójútó inú ilé wa gẹ́gẹ́ bí Ọlọ́run ṣe pa ọkùnrin láṣẹ wípé kó mójútó ilé rẹ̀, ìyàwó rẹ̀ àti àwọn ọmọ rẹ̀. It's a responsibility. It's a religious obligation which Almighty Allah will ask every man at the head of house.
So, we are always speaking agricultural dynamics, illegal rights, the economic factor, and it's also important for us to also check what's the role of the counselors and community leaders. But now, kí ni ipa táwọn náà máa kó nínú ká má máa ní ìpínyà nínú ìgbéyàwó. So our counselor is here. Incidentally, I was the Amira when he was the Amir at Sierra Leone. So please get up and very well. Okay, your 5 minutes, please. Thank you.
وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن والاه وبعد. All praise is due to Allah. We thank Him, we glorify Him, we adore Him. His peace and blessing be upon Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and also the companions and all of us trying to follow their footsteps in the day of judgment. Let me just go straight to the question that is thrown to me. In Islam, we all understand the place of marriage. Alhamdulillah, we have our grandparents here and all of the justices of the Sharia Court of Appeal. We also have numerous of our teachers here present. I want to use this opportunity to recognize the presence of our mother and the teacher at College of Arabic and Islamic Legal Studies. One of those who first introduced us to Islamic family law, the person of Barrister K.K. Eleji. So what I'm trying to say is that in Islam, the Prophet ﷺ has told us that man tazawwaja faqad istakmala this. Whoever gets one, whether as a man or as a woman, has completed part of it. So the scholars have made us to understand that it means that 50% of our assessment before Allah on the day of judgment will be of marriage. But unfortunately, we are joking with this 50%. Day in, day out, our own work is to face purpose and talk to them. And I'm glad that our honorable judge is also here. Every day they face cases involving couples having issues that sometimes, or in most cases, lead to divorce. So I want to use this opportunity to implore our fathers that are here present to pay more attention to marriage, because as I said earlier, it is 50% of our assessment before Allah on the day of judgment. So the role of the Muslim leaders, right from the imams, our judges, and several other people in the society who are preaching in accordance with the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Let's take these 6 problems. You all agree with me that they are big problems. Number one of our problems that all our scholars, our imams need to identify is ignorance. A lot of people are ignorant about marriage and they want to enter marriage. The second one is following of desire. A lot of people have knowledge, but they are following their desire. The third one is lack of counseling. There is difference between knowledge and counseling. We need to draw a line of dichotomy between these two. Then another problem is the problem of high expectations. A brother expecting too much from the wife, forgetting that she's a human being. A sister also expecting too much from the husband, thinking that he's an angel. That's another problem. Another problem is the problem of following the people that are not Igbo Muslims, following the ways of the kuffar. Many of us today were on social media. Let us look at the kind of people that we are following. The kind of people that we follow will influence our marriages. And the last point is the issue that has to do with sex and intimacy. Then to solve these problems, religious leaders in our society need to take proper care of these 5 things. Number 1 is general counseling. We need to start assembling young people, the teenagers, before they even think about marriage. Let us teach them the right things to do. Let us bring them up to become good husbands. Let us bring them up to become good wives. This also includes our khutbahs. At least in a month, all of our imams should dedicate one of their khutbah to marriage counseling.
Thank you very much. We have already started and we are already getting free counseling services. We'll quickly go to my mother again. I would like to know in what ways do traditional and cultural practices intersect with religious teachings in shaping marital expectations and behaviors. So a lot of people have expectations even before they get into marriage. I want to know how their own cultural background and practices can have impacts on those expectations, and are they valid expectations or not? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
For this, I'd like to start maybe by attempting to answer the question. Is the theme of the question. And who is to be blamed for the surge in divorce within Muslim communities? And I want to take the kind permission of the chairman and our fathers to say, number 1, I believe the men are to be blamed. The men are to be blamed because in Islam, which is the culture of Muslims, if culture is understood appropriately to be the way of life of people, men are the head of the family and society. It is the men that will bring structure to the family. It is the men that must stand as pillars upon which every aspect or component of society, beginning from the one. So in any marriage, there should be someone who is called the senior partner, who should be responsible for harnessing the human resources in that family, so that the family is an active structure. In that respect, when it crumbles, in my own little perspective, I blame our fathers. I also blame women for raising wings that can't be fathers, that cannot stand to the expectation of the leadership role, because women are the vessels of life. Any child, man, or any child, boy or girl, that eventually grows up to become a man or a woman in marriage, goes through the vessel of creation, where Allah says, describing himself, who already يصوركم في الأرحام كيف يشاء. It is in the womb of women that Allah fashion any human being. And that connection, that identity that every woman that starts from that vessel of creation impact greatly on how they understand themselves as a functional component of the society, starting from the family. So a man that lacks orientation regarding the responsibility and the qualities of leadership, how to stand tall, that has been raised as an object, that has been objectified for social welfare, later, not how they should realize their responsibility to Allah through their immediate family. Women are to blame. And society generally tends to blame for fostering a culture that causes women without expectation, that does not align with religious principles, that follows individual will, yet validate on the basis of culture. By saying things that are not tied to what Allah has sent us to come and do, by confusing well-meaning individuals women and allowing people that want to exploit to hide, because there are two categories of individuals, whether man or woman, in my own perspective. There are genuine and sincere servants of Allah, and there are those that want to exploit every relationship. There's a culture that allows for that exploitation. Those that want to exploit, the genuine ones may become toxic or thoroughly confused. When a woman who is supposed to be providing instructions is directed based on principles that is not rooted in the culture of Islam, she begins to start certain expectations and owns children objects. So my children are not my children that Allah entrusted me with. They are mine, attraction, and I like. So that culture is the point, is not the problem. It is because the principles behind culture have not been appreciated. So nothing is wrong with culture because it is human custom and habit that become culture. So we can't blame culture, we blame the individuals that are trained, that are failed to align cultural practices with divine principles. It's really damaging.
Yes, ma'am. In fact, you answered more than I expected. And fún àǹfààní àwọn bàbá wa tó wà dé, àwọn ìyá wa wọ́n ti sọ fún wa pé ta la fẹ́ sọ pé ó nípa níbi pé a ṣe ní.
Ìkàtí wọ́n sọ, òun ni wípé ọ̀nà mẹ́ta la lè gbà wò. Tábà ní ta ni ó yẹ kí á burú fún bí ìgbéyàwó ṣe ń dàrú. Ó sì jẹ́ wípé ètò tí Islam gbé kalẹ̀ kò yẹ kó máa ṣẹlẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀. Létí ọmọ kékeré tèmi pẹ̀lú ìyọ̀dá àwọn bàbá wa, mo rí pé àwọn ọkùnrin ni. Nítorí wípé bí Ọlọ́run ṣe gbé àwọn ọkùnrin, àwọn ni òpómúléró ilé, tí ilé bá dúró dáadáa, ni ọmọ tí ó yanjú ó sì lè jáde. Ọmọ tó bá wá yanjú náà ni ó tún àwùjọ sí. A tún wá rí pé àwọn ìyá wa náà láwàá, nítorí àtọkùnrin àtobìnrin, ìpilẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ọmọ èèyàn ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ látara obìnrin. Obìnrin ni ó kọ́kọ́ mọ̀ pé nǹkan dúró sí òun lára. Ìjẹ́ èèyàn ó wà láàrin òun àtọ́lọ́, àwọn màláíkà ń ṣe, àmọ́ nígbà bá ti dúró lè yẹn tuntun. Òun náà nínú obìnrin náà ti wá ń ro èèyàn. Iṣẹ́ tí Ọlọ́run wá ń ṣe látara obìnrin yẹn, Òun ló fi jẹ́ wípé aago yẹn obìnrin ní agbára láti fi èèyàn rán tí ó bá wù. Nítorí alátàrà náà ló ti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Lásìkò ìgbà tí bàbá ò tiẹ̀ mọ̀, tí ìyá bá fi nǹkan sórí ọyàn ní ìsìn tó bá ní kọ́ ọmọ gbà, tó bá jẹ́ pé májèlé ni ọmọ ò gbà bàbá ò lè mọ̀. Ó mì pé ń gbà yẹn nìkan ìyá nìkan àárín òun àtọ́lọ̀ nìkan ló wà. Gbogbo láti wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti wá kọ́ ọmọ wípé ìyá máa ń ṣe ojúṣe tí àwọn dáńkájí wá ṣe sọ. Wípé olójúṣe ni èèyàn tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti iṣẹ́ tó gbúdọ̀ máa jẹ́ nínú ilé ó wà látọ̀rọ̀wọ́ ọ̀yá. Wípé ìmọ̀ wá da iṣẹ́ ìlú mọ́ àwọn ìyá lọ́wọ́, á wà á bá àwùjọ wí. Tó jẹ́ wípé nǹkan tí ò yẹ kí àwùjọ máa kó sórí àwọn obìnrin náà ni àwùjọ ń kó sórí àwọn obìnrin. Èyí tó fi wá jẹ́ wípé èyí tí wọ́n fi kojú mọ́ iṣẹ́ tí Ọlọ́run ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ fi rán wọn láti máa wá ṣe iṣẹ́ tó yẹ kí wọ́n jẹ́. Wọ́n wá gbé iṣẹ́ òun kalẹ̀, wọ́n wá mú ṣe oníṣẹ́. Ọmọ mi, a máa gbàgbé pé ọmọ tá ń pè lọ́mọ mi yìí ẹrú Ọlọ́run ni. Tó jẹ́ wípé tó bá di jọ́ gbéǹde ìjọ ìyá ọmọ ìyá tó gbòòlù márùn ún ní àfíìkì wà òmí yìí wà àbí. Wọ́n sọ ìbátí yìí bàbá yìí. Nígbà tó jẹ́ wípé iṣẹ́ ìṣúná nìkan ni yóò dúró. Ó yẹ ká rọ ẹni bẹ́ẹ̀ lẹ́ni tó lè dúró sáwájú Ọlọ́run pé Ọlọ́run mo jíṣẹ́ tó rán mi lọ. Á wàá sọ ọmọ di nǹkan ní. Bá a lè fẹ́ kó rí ọmọ òun náà wá ní ríra rẹ̀ dáná láti inú ilé tó fi mọ owó àwùjọ ọlọ́run.
Reason why I said to attend to interpret, but thank you very much, ma'am. I don't understand, so forgive me. I'm not making any more attempts to interpret. My panelists will do justice to that. Thank you very much. So let me just say, please, I would like to know what are the legal rights, even if you are not going to look at it from the legal aspect, but want to know what are the rights of women or spouses generally. Thank you, sir.
Yes, like I said earlier, sorry, I'd like to further lay my submission on the foundation earlier. These duties or rights of marriage, unto whom are they due? Who has the obligation, and the obligation is also to whom? I like to correct a philosophy here that against the foundation that we have laid, that the duties and responsibilities of marriage should be seen more as spiritual, and that we should, I want to believe from the submission of, and my sister here also ended up on young will not mean actually. All these are pointing to one part, that the orientation of a Muslim is to view all that he does or he chooses to live undone only in the light of the consequences of his action or inaction with regards to the hereafter. That is why when Allah addresses men in marriage, I have a comment on this first part of the verse, but I'll defer it. But where I'm going in the line of this sequence, in this passage, is where Allah says, وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّكُمْ وَقَدِّمُوا لِأَنفُسِكُمْ وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّكُمْ مُلَاقُوهُ. Look at those sequences. Marital institution is an avenue where you are expected to put up for yourself handsome, monumental, gigantic gifts, which you should expect that they should weigh heavily in your scale of hasanat on the day of Qiyamah. This by which you hope that Allah shall cast smile on your face. Qaddimuli anfusikum here is not about Qiyamul Layl, not about Siyamul Tatawwur, not about Qira'atul Quran. It is about being truthful with regards to marital responsibility. Iṣẹ́ olóore tí wọ́n wá níbi ìṣọkọ, níbi ìṣèyàwó. You know what amuses me most? Wallahi, my teachers are here, you can correct me. I have an observation. Verses of Allah, verses of Siyam or other obligations, they don't come with that. We mean by give thanks of Allah. You can dispute me. After putting our name to Siyam, that's all. But when it comes to verses of marital responsibilities, you see that Allah will not only issue the law, but it would also issue threats that it's going to result in great consequences if you should fail to abide by the injunctions of Allah in that area. That's why you hear verses such as Allah. In the context of this verse, your taqwa Allah is not about your salah, it's about your duties as a husband or your duties as a wife. And you should know, remember, know certainly that you shall stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give an account of how you have husbanded your wives or how you have also wiped your husbands as women. It's a one-count card that you must have to pass on it before you move against before Allah. So that's why I asked the question, to whom do we owe this obligation? The husbands. Your wife is just a collateral beneficiary of those duties. You owe them to Allah. She does not have to earn it. There's another point. She was saying, ẹ̀sìn ní nǹkan tá à ń sọ yìí. Torí ẹ̀ ni mi ò ṣe ní fẹ́ ká fojú òfin ìwò máa ń dà kan ní. Bí lọ́ọ̀yà àgbà tún lọ fẹ́ lọ́ọ̀yà ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ márẹ́jìs àwọn lọ́ọ̀yà ẹ̀rí pé máa ń sábà láti sọ́ọ̀tì. A máa ń fún òun pé àkíyèsí máa ṣe èrè. Ẹ má fi wọ́n máa kó ṣẹ̀fọ́ àwọn ọmọ. It's not about that. The duties in marriage talk about understand pé àṣẹ tọ́lọ́run pa wọn, òun di Ọlọ́run ní gbèsè bóun ṣe, bóun lè bá ilé ojú rere Ọlọ́run ọba tó dá wọn. Ìyàwó ẹ̀ bá àṣẹ pátá ìbáàrùn bá àṣìṣe ojú sí. Mo gbọ́dọ̀ wọ́ because ó fẹ́ fèèrè regarding 50% ẹ̀sìn ẹni yẹn. Àbọ̀ àti sọ fún wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan pé àgbàmọ̀ ìsáwọ̀ ọjà ní fún akọ̀dé sákìmọ́lá ní sákìmọ́lá. So because of the purpose of these things of rights, the most important rights or obligations of marriage is supposed to be mu'ashara, right of provision, right of freedom. What is the essence of marriage? Allah addresses the men. He also addresses the women. Let me start by the women. Allah gives you a name in the Quran because it says, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. Of the signs of Allah is that He has created for you your partners, your female spouses from among yourselves, that you men may find rest, may find peace, may find succor, may find solace, may find coolness in your lives. So if you ask me, I wouldn't be legalistic. What is the fundamental obligation of a woman in marriage? I will tell you that the most primary duty is to give balance in the life of the husband. Whatever you need to achieve that obligation. If your fundamental duty is to be Christian in the life of the husband, to be sure and brother in the life of the husband, because your primary duty is to give your husband security. And that's why I used to tell all women, all successful wives should beat their chests and tell themselves that I am secure. Look at this singular value that we have identified. It's not materialistic. Allah goes further, all these soft components, they are the far more fundamental values that have even begotten those legal or jurisprudential values you want to be talking about in the first place. Mawadda, scholars would say, is more compatible with femininity. while Rahma is more compatible with masculinity. Marriages are failing because men have stopped being merciful. They are not compassionate. There is no tolerance. And that's why I'll agree with my sister that men are responsible for the collapse of marriages. Because if the pillars have collapsed, then the marriage will not hold itself together any longer. So the Mu'ashara is the right. Let each and every partner in the marriage institution be committed to giving each other good living, good experience, good treatment. That goes to respect. That goes to preserving the dignity of the husband. When then we can then be going to things that are merely cosmetic. I mean, if you are telling me that conjugal rights, yes, it's the right, but we know. But conjugation really doesn't really happen effectively in an atmosphere of chaos, in an atmosphere of unhappiness. It needs an enabling atmosphere. And that is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has primarily charged us to be committed to. Let me just give some kind of tips. For a woman to be sakina in the life of your husband, the Prophet ﷺ has given you 3 tips. It's something you have to be committed to. You should package yourself in such a way that you just look so dearly, so alluring, so attractive. You are expected to be homely, warm, and receptive, and attractive, and all at all times. It matters what kind of confidence you put up in the matrimonial home. Many women are just habitually moody. Mood swing is a problem. These are issues. وَإِذَا أَمَرْتَهَا أَطَاعَتْكَ. Feminism, let it not go into your head. In any institution, even in the Department of Islamic Law of the University of Ilorin, regardless of who is manning the department, at least we have a leader, we have someone who is in every institution that brings about more than one person, that is bound to the leadership. I think this is a fundamental theory of management and administration. And Allah has so designed that in marriage institution, the man should be held responsible for the fate of the marriage. Yes, the woman also has a role. She is the manager, but under the directorship of the man. And as for men, your most fundamental duty is to take as your primary concern the welfare of the husband. What is the Allah says, Abujalu, Hawamuna, Al-Nisa. Our scholars are here, they can prove me wrong. When we say Qawma Allah in Arabic, it imposes obligations. That part is not a verse of liability, as some of the Mufassirun have even overemphasized. With due respect to Imam al-Qurtubi, if you read his tafsir on this verse, sorry, I shouldn't have even mentioned that. Please, men, don't read the tafsir of al-Qurtubi on this verse. You think too much of yourself as a man. But when we say Qawma Allah, it not means to take charge of taking care of something, to be responsible for something, to sustain and uphold the interest. And Allah has not said, Al-Rijalu Qa'imuna ala nisa. He has used a figure that is even mubalaga. Al-Rijal Qawwamuna ala nisa. If I were to interpret that, I will tell you that after your obligation to Allah, oh men, and maybe your parents, if they are alive, Allah has not assigned you any responsibilities that is ever greater and worthier in the sight of Allah than your dedication to your wife. MashaAllah. If it's about one and I go through the Quran as well, the verse I cited earlier. Allah calls your wife your children, your guardian. If your wives are your guardian, what are you, oh man? Answer that question, please. In other words, all men are supposed to be farmers, isn't it? Do you know what that means? Every man is expected to relate to his wife the way a farmer relates to his farm. Please pause a little and reflect over this. If it is too windy, where does the mind of the farmer go? If it is excessively raining, where does the mind of the farmer go? If the sunshine is too high, where is the mind of the farmer? A farmer will interpret virtually everything that happens to him only in terms of welfare or otherwise of his wife. Ìkólé kan gbogbo ọkùnrin fún ìyàwó rẹ̀ kò gbọdọ̀ yàtọ̀ sí bí àtàgbé ọ̀sìn kódà bí ń fò lójú oorun máa ń lálàá kí ló dé lálàá òkè ọkùnrin mélòó wá lágbẹ̀ẹ́nu wa ń bí ìmú sí. Tí àwọn conditions bá ti wà wẹ́ǹdè lẹ́rí gbogbo àwọn àṣẹ tó náà wá pa àwọn ọkùnrin pé ká ṣe fáwọn obìnrin àwọn those legal lists yẹn inshallah they will be more easier to accomplish. Especially tí ìjọba bá ti yé wa pé ìyàwó wa ò ní ìdíkó dì sáàbò ọlọ́run la bá nájà ọ̀rọ̀ yìí dàbí ọ̀rọ̀ ọmọ tí a kàn bí tó wá lọ gbé sẹ́gbẹ̀ títì lẹ́nu ní ìpọ̀. Ọlọ́run wa tọ́ dàgbà ó yanjú. Ìyá tó wù tó sọ gangan wá dé ó wá yọjú pé èmi mo bí ọmọ kì í mọ ọkọ mi ó wá fà á kékọ́rí. Ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pé kó ti lè nǹkan mọ̀ ó mọ̀ ó kó má wẹ́ pàtó. Bí ò bá wẹ̀ fún yákàkà lágbègbè wá ọ̀dọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ fúnka alábàbìbí ńlá ìyá wa láìyé wọ̀ náà kò lè mọ̀ ó kí kó má wọ̀. Because ìyá tó bí ò gbọdọ̀ ẹ̀mí Ọlọ́run ló là bọ̀ gbogbo ọmọ lọ́rùn pé ẹ ṣe fún òbí. Káfíńtì understand ìdílé yẹn so that tí inú ìyàwó náà tọ̀ dáadáa ní kí n bá bọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ rẹ̀ àtọ́kọ́ pọ̀ mí ti ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ tí ò lábọ̀ ó jì ẹ̀ ti wọ́n. Bàbá ló bá ní ìgbàkúgbà. Ó ti gbàgbé pé fàṣọ́ọ̀lì hàtù lọ́dọ̀ náà ọ̀nì pàtó àpèbọ́n tó lè rí. Ọlọ́run lòun jẹ ní gbèsè fóun pápá. Fóun sì agbóhùn ọkọ. Ọkọ gbé tó dùn mọ́ ní wá o kò gbé tó dùn mọ́ ní wá. À ń sin lọ́run lára ara wa ni. Ọkọ ó máa sin lọ́run lára ìyàwó. Ìyàwó náà ó máa sin lọ́run lára ọkọ. Ìjọba ọkùnrin bá wá gbèsè ọkùnrin dé òní wò ó máa wọ náà ìṣá máa wọ náà ìjà ti bá yọnu náà pàdé. Ìjọba ọkùnrin náà bá wá gbèsè obìnrin dé ọkùnrin náà gbọdọ̀ mọ̀lé júwe. Ọlọ́run máa ń ṣe tí òfin fáwọn obìnrin ní right of black. Gbogbo àwọn bàbá wọn ò jẹ́ ìdí níbi ìmísí. Kò fẹ́ẹ̀ sọ́kùnrin kan tí ó pè ogún ọdún ní márèjì àbọ́dún mẹ́wàá gbogbo ọdún kan pọ̀ jù. Tí àwọn èrò tó ní sọ fún lẹ́ẹ̀kan pé ẹ dákun ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ni tó bá jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ẹ bá máa sáńtà ṣẹlẹ̀. So ìwọ ọkùnrin náà tó bá wá fún ìyàwó nìkànlá ká ní kí ló dé kó wá lọ lẹ́yìn òun ló bèrè fún mo sì fún òun ò lọ láì ní ìka ṣùgbọ́n ẹ̀mí kan tó fẹ́ ṣe ń bẹ́ẹ̀ rẹ lọ́tẹ̀. Let us consider this. So our rights wọ̀nyẹn they are all in our books and I think we can keep them on the seat. But it's not the case. I think I'm more philosophical than you have to make
So, stemming from what you have just said now, we can talk about responsibility. And we're also looking at the economic situation of the country. We have situations where the spouses are not sharing responsibility, so it's like 50-50. Some are even taking the whole 70 or 90 times. We'd like you to share all the expectations of financial responsibility in marriage and life.
I will start from our mother here. My in-law, Professor Riva, and the Honorable Justice, that men are saddled with the responsibility to provide for the wife and the children. But they are the ones that always dig their grave. Men, they dig their grave. Starting from the inception of having a girlfriend that this is the lady I want to marry. Because if you have it at the back of your mind that this is my capacity and capability as to finance, you check your pocket, you foresee whether you will be able to cater for this woman. Prophet Sallallahu in one of his ahadith, he said, women are married with 4 things: their wealth, their family background, their beauty, and lastly, the jiniha. Prophet Sallallahu now said, "Fa'az part of the desert, out of bad that if you want to have a quality home that you won't blame yourself as a father or as the head, marry somebody who has fear of Almighty Allah, that who has already grounded with all principles of Islam, at least basic ones. The first thing is surely hard to call it out. A woman that knows that my responsibility in my home or in my marriage is to be obedient. Whatever happens, because the economic trend that is going on now presently affects everybody, no level of your education or whatever you have. ولا نبلونكم بشيء من الخوف والجوع ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين. Almighty Allah has made us before that all these things will happen. Eloman Taike Gari Tenif. Kose Sumama Minalakao is going to test you with fear. Otu lady la or la katu le ko di 2000. Ayok no to just because there are some necessities that can never be changed in our home. What are these things? The costs that can never be changed. Cost of living, particularly rent, if you are a tenant, transportation, school fees of your children, and most importantly, food. Especially now, you have a gari to mini, no make it. Okay, so mini you now 500 naira. Gari ba. And at the end of the day, during the when you want to contract the marriage, we went over because of we have to buy or gómìnà ní ìṣe ó lè dá fún lójú wa ronú síbẹ̀ ó ti báyìí kọ́ lọ́hùn ní pín ó wá lọ fẹ́ ẹni tó ní méjì. And at the end of the day, in fact, in my experience, I discovered that some men, in order to have the heart of a lady, they can go as far as to get a loan. You now be living a fake life, artificial life, just to win her heart. Or not you that you are creating your own grave. At the end of the day, you become a loser husband, as the professor has rightly said. Economic empowerment is something that's beyond human reasoning. You just try your best. If you have now, even if you have a quality job and good income, this issue of inflation has affected every aspect of human life. And The responsibility of a man in Surah to Talaq, asking Unna min epikatantum min ubidikum. Men, maybe I don't know the reason why Almighty Allah has loved women so like this. As we are seeing us sitting down here as men, we are just a slave. You have to provide for shelter, food, everything. I want to look at my career is telling us that we are farmers. Can you just imagine? Men are farmers. And at the end of the day, women who fail to discover and appreciate Allah's mercy on them as women, go about imbibing culture when they feel maybe they have maybe inferior complex, unknown to them that they are the most honorable being on earth, women. Because if a woman or wife has property, money, everything, there is no ayah or sunnah of Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam can compare that woman to spend it in the family. Our money is for ourselves, our property is for ourselves, whatever she has is for ourselves. But man, whatever you have is for the family. Anything for us, and you are now fighting for gender equality. What are you fighting for? You want to bring your gender. You are trying to strip yourself from the honor given to you by Almighty Allah. Ẹni tọ́lọ̀ ní kó mọ ìjòkó lé kán máa ti tẹ́ wá bá ó lóun náà fẹ́ máa rìn jù. Yes. Well, like when I was thinking about what to say here, I didn't ask Father. Because I discovered that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has in his power on that he just placed women in a high esteem. But instead of you people to give glory to Almighty Allah, you start questioning him. Because no matter what, as a daughter, your father has to take care of you. Woman, as a sister, your brother has not. As a wife, someone must take care of you. What's your responsibility? I think that's economic empowerment. Women are now fighting, agitating that they want to go out. Yes, you can go. But those your obligation, your duty, you can't trade with any one of it. If you sincerely want to hold your home, permit me at this juncture. Obìnrin kan lára àwọn ẹjọ́ wẹ́wẹ̀wẹ́ tá a máa ń ṣe. Ó bí ọmọ mẹ́rin, ó sì dínkù olè ọkọ torí kọ́kọ́ lórí ṣe. Àwọn ọmọ mẹ́rẹ̀ẹ̀rin yìí wà lókè fúra for different criminal cases. Gbogbo ẹni tó bá gbọ́n tí ò bá já níbi ọgbọ́n rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àgọ́ díẹ̀. Ẹ̀gbọ́n ìbomù. Gbogbo ọgbọ́n tó bá gbọ́n tó bá fi àgọ́ díẹ̀ sí, ẹ̀kúnlé àgọ́ ní òun àbọ́tú. Obìnrin, your duty is to ensure that home, make your matrimonial home to be whole. Mawadda is the first thing that Allah says before Rahma or whatever. Some of these women be telling the God, I'm a bedroom. This is not issue of woman. Have you created an harmonious atmosphere for your husband? That is your duty. Even this issue of you want to go out and work, yes, you have that opportunity. But what is your intention of going out? Is it you want to compete with your husband, or you want to have authority on your children? Èmi náà mo tún sanwó kúba. Nǹkan tó bìnrin mi bí ìtẹ́jú. Àwọn ni wọ́n wà lẹ́yìn òkè, ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn àfa àwọn wọ́n wà bẹ́ẹ̀, àwọn ní ìpàtàrà wọn jẹ́ nílé. Àwọn tó wà hàn, wọ́n kéwú, àwọn tí ó ṣe àwọn nínú okùn mìíràn láwọn ilé àìsàn lára ẹ̀yìn. Obìnrin ti ló kúrò owó kìíní ìdè. Thank you very much.
From counselor, you understand that most of your clients are women, right? I answer because I know that we always move. Yeah. So what are some of the limitations or stigmas surrounding marital? Because I know some men that will feel like I know everything, I don't even need counseling. For women, we're always trying to get counseling. So what are those and misconceptions around seeking for counseling and how important it is? Thank you.
In the first place, let us understand the fact that the purpose of marriage, as our father, Honorable Joseph Ibrahim Ahmed Said said earlier, based on the verse of the Quran, Quran 30 verse 21, is number one, tranquility. The second one is love. And the third one is mercy. So as Muslims, let us check ourselves. If in your marriage there is no tranquility, he has given several meanings to the word tranquility, including succor. Then it also includes comfort. So it is by performing all the responsibilities in marriage. The man should perform his responsibilities. The woman should also perform her responsibilities. This is what brings about these three components that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in this particular verse. لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. So Allah preaches love in the marriage, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preaches mercy in the marriage. So when you are in a marriage and you are not feeling the tranquility, you are not feeling loved, you are in a merciless marriage, what will happen? You will not enjoy that marriage. And this takes us to the question that is thrown to me. In our society today, a lot of men think that they know everything. In fact, people that I know very well that they are ignorant, they claim to know Islamic family law because they listen to radio, they go to Juma every Friday. But the knowledge of Islam is beyond this. We have our lecturer here. Professor Kamal is here, is our lecturer on Islamic family law. We have a lot to learn from our scholars, especially from the legal perspective. So one of the stigmas that I have noted when it comes to counseling is people claiming that they don't want to expose the secret of their marriage. When you have a problem in your marriage, you have to expose it. You will expose it the way a sick person would expose him or herself to a doctor. But it's unfortunate that people don't come to us until they are in a very serious mess. And these are problems that can easily be corrected if we take into consideration marital counseling, continuing marriage counseling. I do tell my clients that nobody is bigger than marriage, especially our younger sisters these days. Those of you planning to get married to elderly people, even if you are getting married to a sheikh, let that sheikh go for counseling. Both of you should go to a counselor, because through counseling, you are going to gain a lot. You are going to be counseled based on lifetime experience from different marriages who have had several problems. You'll be introduced to some of their problems so that you don't also fall into those problems. So, as I said earlier, this marriage counseling of the team is something that some people think that it is just something that they can just sweep under the carpet while they are preparing for marriage. And at the end of the day, they find themselves in trouble. Then, part of what we should also take cognizance of is the process of conducting a recap. It is very important for us to pay attention to this. If as a parent, you have trained a man and a woman, and you do not provide or supervise the process of spouse recruitment, they are going to make life difficult for you at old age. And this is why many people that are having problems in their marriages, their parents are also suffering. Day and night, they are calling their parents. And that is why, even after providing qualitative education for our children, let us try as much as possible to supervise spouse recruitment process. The scholars also have a role to play in this. Don't allow your daughter or your son to get married to somebody that cannot be checked. Before you marry a woman, before you marry a man, make sure that that man or that woman has somebody that can call into order or that can call out to order. This is one of the biggest problems that we are facing. Then, the nikah process, as I said earlier, must be smooth. Many people do not understand what constitutes a marriage under the Islamic law. All the essential elements must be seen. These days, you just find out that some people will just go and show up in their in-laws' house or their prospective in-laws' house with a friend. And at the end of the day, they begin to sleep with each other. Before you know it, she's pregnant. If a marriage starts this way, what will become of it in the future? And I also have this advice for us. In all our masajid, let us not think that our masjid are just for the purpose of observing prayers and going out. In every mosque, it has gotten to an extent where we should have a committee that will be managing crises in our marriages. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Thank you very much. I'd like to, with the permission of the chairman, that we also have some people on Zoom. So we'll be having their own questions as well. Then if you have questions from the audience, you can please note it while we get the closing remarks from our panelists. Thank you very much. A closing remark. Okay. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Yes, wrap up. I am very grateful for the discussion by my Lord and my brother. So I think at the wrap, because my own focus is on culture. And if I would take a cue from what my Lord said in this, if I would just postpone, my Lord just said men should be farmers. No, implication of what Allah said. Sorry, yes. The implication, yes.
Yes, thank you. The implication, okay, at least our own human implication is something. And you know, my brother then said that women have this very enviable role, okay, and that you then wonder that he was even almost wishing to be a woman. Then go to where my brother finished everything. And I'd like to close on this point that enviable position truly fits a living life. Can we truly say that what Allah says is true and enduring? That the reality of the situation in the Muslim community bear that out. You know, we can say that women are trying to tussle with men, and that is alien ideology and it's feminism. But this can also be assumptions. Because at any point, I think in my own perspective, we forget that Islam has all these lofty objectives in Maqasid Sharia. What these provisions should secure. There are all these lofty provisions, but how do they translate into practice for observance within Muslim communities? Now, the verse, and I want to give the three, alhamdulillah, our scholars here have given the frame of reference. When we go to the verse, Arijalu Qawwamuna 'ala an-nisa, which interprets that a man, when at marriage, and please correct me if I'm wrong, loses economic freedom. As they've said, whatever belongs to a woman is hers, or whatever belongs to the man is for everybody. Now, two sides of the coin. That has affected our socialization into that. Is now tied that, at least for all in Africa and the African community, the utility of a man and the way he measures himself is tied to his economic power and the ability to provide. So that a man may even consider himself not to be a man, or others who view him as failing in responsibility if he lacks economic power. I am not saying that my brother is not correct by saying that men should not marry above their means. I am saying that even men themselves try to realize that there is a difference between assuming responsibility for something and the actual ability to provide for that thing. Assumption of responsibility is human. Ability to provide is divine. In Allah, it is Allah that constrains things for whoever he likes and makes it right for whoever he likes. And if it should always be so, we would not have a model in the Prophet Allah. It's not why human or has economic power that the Prophet did not have. Now, did that absorb the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam from the responsibility to provide? We cannot decide his ability to actually do so. And I will say that in a number of our communities, socialization has been that men, because of the socio-economic factor and what is going on, and the socialization for dominance, they have not been socialized. So when the reality requires cooperation, they take dominance cultural gap, which affect their own ego. Because if you work from now to tomorrow, The meat that Allah has destined for you is what you will get. But it is not the economic means that a man will use to maintain the family. It is the ability to take responsibility, trusting that Allah would aid him in that divinely allocated role, because he was not the one that defined the role for himself. I believe that you can play and be blaming on the fact that among yourself is God, yet you are not God. But you are supposed to communicate. You may not be in your past. I can't provide, I can't do myself. I can't provide, well, I'm lying inside. Acknowledging to the wife that it is my responsibility to provide, but I do not ask to do. May that bring a little Allah from sources like Jordan. And I think that realization where we are now made many more issues and involve themselves into a depression of economic power. And anything right from me that is not. So my point is that rationalization is once we get into the situation, requires that a man should then be cooperating. The sense of defining themselves with the ability to provide, forgetting that all they need to do is to take responsibility for it. Otherwise, our Prophet worked for his wife and argued from it, maintain the same wife from the provision that is earning. Then again, finally, that women often, if as our my Lord said, that the responsibility of a woman in a marriage is to provide the yes. Now, the same way that it is not a default position for men, moodiness and some change in behavior oftentimes are caused from a sense of insecurity from a man refusing to take responsibility. Because if you then believe that I am for myself and I have to act alone, you move outside the divine protection that Allah has made a man to be. The prophetic tradition that says that if it was possible for a woman to worship other than her creator, he would have commanded that you worship your husband. Or that even if a wound will be bringing out pulse on your husband's body, and a woman will use her mouth to stop it, that you would not have fulfilled the responsibility of Sakina to your husband. Well, why? Very, very on point, because a man is supposed to simulate rock the Alamin as rock of the faith in the life of a woman. And so, a man that does that is not only entitled, he is as of right, deserving of that position of reverence. That's why there is no amount of love that you could give a man. If it lacks respect, it's not love. And there is no amount of love that you can give a woman. If it lacks security, it's not love. And it ties to why women at times react to additional women. Because men have not taken care of that sense of security. Okay? And it has taken that sense of security. So at times, when insecurity is bringing up, it's interpreted as jealousy. So there are so many dynamics that are into this that we assume that we know each other, and we put all this provision to make it not subject, forgetting that we are taking different models. And some of these children that are getting married do not even know how to cooperate with somebody that has been told all his life, has only 1% in our brain, and he has 99%. And he's in a marriage, he can't figure out how to take care of the family. And he's not supposed to act, or expect cooperation for this person who is effectively somewhere low because he's a king. A man is supposed to be a king. A king, the husband of a queen. A king that has a queen, not a king. He starts with being a king. That all this understanding and socialization, we need to put it together that the sexes are not in competition. That we are equal is not in question. But can we be treated equally? Who even determines equality? Allah created everyone. But even as we are sitting here, my Lord, even though you are the ranked, my seat is more elevated because I'm a panelist, you are not. So it's actually equal. I think the man is the head of a family. He is not prepared for that. So when people become self-aware, they know that Allah allows duty, which the fulfillment will make you right of others. So engaging in all this senseless competition is tantamount to not reflect on modalities for translating this Islamic principle, time honored, into actual realities, and they will never change.
I know you want to respond, but please, I would like to say and apologize that because of we are running out of time, so we only have here and we'll take our question and answer. So in the process of answering some of those questions, we'll be able to make your point about this. No. We were just now. I'm not being this here. I'm just trying to. Okay, so please, to the audience now, if you have questions, please signify so that we'll ask the mic to you. And we also have our people online so that we can have the question. Please, I'll wait 3 questions from the audience and maybe 2 from the Zoom. And we'll be passing the mic. And please make your question as short as thank you.
All right, yeah, so my question is this. One of those things that I feel like are causing divorce in marriage, that even the scholars of Islam try to discuss the topics is the aspect of zina, or a man not trying to satisfy, or the partners not satisfying themselves in terms of sexual interactions. And then I don't know why the scholars of Islam are not even discuss all of these topics. We just discuss about the good.
Like, I'm glad I have the importance of the religions and so now, like, my question is, what if, like, if the translation of the religion is like, really, better and the man needs help. So my question is, how can the man ask us?
The last question. Hurry up, please. Okay, then you give the question for online.
Mr. Nurdin Ibrahim, can you unmute yourself and proceed with your comments or questions?
While we await the question, online question, we want to recognize the presence of my lord from George Yusuf Olabuchi Abdulhamid. You are welcome, sir. And also Sheikh Ahmed Abdul-Yakib. You are welcome, sir. George Abdul Aminullah Yinka. You are also welcome, sir.
Should I move myself back?
Dr. Isa, the sub-team, Faculty of Law and Hikman University, Dr. Isa Olawale Salamuddin. And we are the students of the Hikman University. Then also we welcome Archbishop Dr. Kamudir Imam Mutemi from the University of Ilorin.
Let's quickly take the topic answer while we are with online question. So, Barrister James, can you please answer on
the issue of sex and intimacy, it is very important. In fact, some of the scholars have explained that the literal meaning of an is al-jima, which means sexual intercourse. And we are going to understand the importance of sex and intimacy in marriage when we consider statements of the Prophet ﷺ in one of his hadiths, where he also mentioned some of the purposes of marriage and the condition that a man must attain before he thinks about marriage. The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever has the capacity to get married should get married. The capacity, as mentioned in this hadith, has two interpretations. One, financial capacity, and the second one is sexual capacity. This shows how important sex is in marriage. Then he said, if you get married, one of the purposes that marriage serves in our lives is to assist us to lower our needs. Sometimes when you see a man looking up and down, his eyes is not at a single place. Probably the problem is that he is not married. Then he says, well, part of the purposes of marriage is to protect us from illicit sexual relationship. So as Muslims, one of the reasons Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us to get married to be able to refrain from illicit sexual intercourse, that is dinner. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes something haram, He gives us the halal version. The halal version is marriage. But unfortunately, in our society, a lot of people are playing with this responsibility. And that is the purpose for which we are writing a book. The book, Halal Sex and Intimacy. You know, some of these issues are sensitive. There are not things that we can be talking about openly in some places, especially if you don't want to ignite fitna. And that is why we have documented it in a book. But sometimes we need to tell ourselves the truth. Some men think that women will get to particular age where they do not need sex again. So they neglect the sexual needs of their wives. And some of these people go to the hospital and they will tell them that you need to be having sex regularly. The doctors do not hide it. So, as our brother has noted, I think the scholars need to also try to hammer on this issue, because this issue is now bringing a lot of people into what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants marriage to be in the first place. You see a man, some men even have multiple wives and they're still committing dinner. And some women, they are in marriage, their husband are not taking proper care of their sexual needs. They go about committing dinner. So I think the observation is very important. The last time we were done is very right. One of the questions that I think is
as regards question, I put it to me whether in the face of economic action, all one speak for help from our wife who have abundance.
Don't have in fact, they have to pay now. The man, don't try to marry the man.
quoted by Paul earlier. That from when you're talking now, you're going down the mountain. I want to remind you that that verse is even in the specific context of marital issue. So if the first thing is you have to interpret that verse would say, any husband who hears Allah in his marriage, to contextualize the verse, yes, we know it extends beyond that. But the context of the verse is with particular reference to matrimony. Any man who fears Allah in his marriage, wallah is the reality. Allah will provide the way out for you in any difficulty, even from sources you never could expect. Not also that the Jumal is Shaktiya, conditional. Allah has programmed and automated it. Once you can exhibit substantial fear of Allah, you will also have your marriage appears easy. Go down further the line. We also have وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مِنْ أَمْرِهِ يُسْرًا. You want it to be easy and smooth for you as a man? Fear Allah regarding your wife. Be dutiful regarding your responsibility, and Allah will bless your ways. My second observation is to my brother on my side who entertains trial issues when it comes to the solution of marriage. I am wondering, and I want to propose that we have verses in the Quran that I think we should codify into law. That maybe one of the reasons why marriages collapse is that women are also cheap in the marriage market. Am I correct? Because it is whatever you have acquired cheaply that will be easy to discard so easily. My sisters, I want to give you an assignment. I will say it here. Go and research. How much did the prophet collect as sadaq from his daughters that he gave in marriage? How much did the messenger of Allah pay the women in marriage as sadaq? And insist that until that is paid, no man can marry you. Please, place a high. I know what I'm saying. Because at the end of the day, it is this man that will still go through the back door, be cruel to the woman, and the woman will come out to the court and say, I want to do. And this wicked man will also say, where is my mother? Asking for mother again from the back door. Let us understand this. Allah says in the Quran, I think in 2 places, وَمَتِّعُهُنَّ عَلَى الْمُسْرِ قَدَرُهُ وَعَلَى الْمُقْتِرِ قَدَرُهُ حَقًّا عَلَى الْمُحْسِنِينَ. In another verse it says, وَلِلْمُطَلَّقَاتِ مَتَاعٌ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ حَقًّا عَلَى الْمُتَّقِينَ. But we have been keeping these verses advising. Allah says, if you arbitrarily divorce a woman, you have to settle her. Because you have caused an alteration, a distortion in her life. So I want our brother, whenever you declare a marriage dissolved, I think you should be considering anonymous too, even in Islamic marriages. Financial imposition on the husband that is abusing divorce. Yes, you have your rights. Nobody will hold you in matrimony against the woman with whom you are no more interested in. But these verses should be imposed so that financial imposition will be on that man. Okay, this marriage is hereby dissolved, and then there is a consequential order that the man is hereby ordered to restitute the wife in the sum of 5 million because you have to. If you begin to make some of this in part of the I'm waiting, inshallah, where we give it to God on it. It can be modified. Allah has a reason, for telling us that. Thank you very much.
Is different from parentality, what we face at the lower end. Yesterday, a case was brought before me. So this one you are in what? Most of the cases we do have are the area court. is always on Hulu. If we have like 20 people, if like just 2 or 3 will be from the upper. I'm talking from what I know. In my court this year, the first cases that I've handled is almost 72. In my own court, my friend's court here at the upper area court this year is like 93. And if you check the between of these cases we are talking about, they are women. We have to fear Almighty Allah. Women are not ready to stay in a marriage again. In fact, they see divorce. They see marriage as a business venture. You know why? As my honorable Kadi rightly said here, mo fẹ́ kọ́ ọkọ mi, ọmọ mẹ́rin mo sì bí mu, yóò máa san 100,000 lé lọ́wọ́ kọ̀ọ̀kan. Yóò sì máa sanwó kíní kan, yóò sì máa ṣe. And you don't have any response, you have to be paying all these things. You understand? At the end of the day, you grant it, abi? She will still go and contact another marriage, and she will still live there. They are now using it as a form of business. When I was sitting at Alaba, mo ṣe kéèsì téèyàn fi fọwọ́ méje. Èsè pípò ayé ni o. Ó sì bímọ fún gbogbo wọn lẹ́yìn ọ̀kan bẹ́ẹ̀. Another one last week, tọkọ-tìyàwó ni wọ́n ń gbéra wọn wá kóòtù. Ìyàwó ló ní kí wọ́n gbé òun lọ kóòtù, àwọn ò para wọn tó bá já wọn wá o. Kí nìdí? Èrú màá tẹ̀sí ti fún un. And the man was shedding tears that he is not capable of getting another place now. What are we going to say about this one? During the time, our former CJ, Honorable Kawu was trying to review our book of court, I was expecting him that, in fact, if you want to collect divorce certificate or you want to file divorce, supposed to be like 100 or 200,000. That will form the rate of instituting divorce cases. This case, the conventional marriages, statutory marriages, you can't just enter into statutory marriage and come today that you want to divorce. They won't grant it. We are supposed to be using all those things, but they are the ones using it. In fact, if you want to file a case, a marriage that was contracted under statutory marriage, a lawyer will not collect less than 300,000 from you. For other Islamic marriage, if you have 10,000, even 2,000 naira, you don't go there. Movement for community, chili kankan. Àwọn register of the union now say, "Hey, you need to go for you go out." What did I tell you? What that? The man I was talking about yesterday that happened. I'm very sorry taking your time, please. I was wondering, where are we going in this country? Ọkọ ẹran only 1,000, one day many. Nínú ọbẹ̀. Ọkọ oníná wà stingy. Women, most of us are seriously stingy. Most men, I'm very sorry, my chairman, sir. I'm very sorry, sir. Àwọn míì máa ń ka ẹran sínú ọbẹ̀ ni. Wọ́n máa yọ agolo ti ìrẹsì nínú ilé fún ìyàwó wọn. And that will bring them to feel insecure in that marriage. If you are a type of man like that, you're supposed to save your wife economically so that she will be relieved. Whenever she has any emergency as to financially, she will be able to cater for herself. If you are a stingy type, We are very grateful. We know this discussion will continue.
Sorry, just I just want to emphasize one thing, and that is to see the wisdom in what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided. In the same verse in Surah Al-Baqarah, you see the verse of Ulu, and Allah is talking about Allah in the same verse. With respect to the men, he says, if you want to divorce a woman arbitrarily, if it is a woman you are married with fortune, you will think twice. Because whatever you have given her in the marriage, you forgive it. At the same time, if a woman wants to abuse the right of people, it simply means that she was married cheaply. Yes, I think in my mouth at marriage was 1 million. I've given you a car and then you just come to say on account of the 50 reasons you want to give my mind. No problem, go. But you are relinquishing all that I have also given. So we can secure the right marriage on the basis of women don't cheat in yourselves.
I will take it to my Lord for that to be. And I thought that it is only fair that I should also give a key to men as well, particularly because we have youth here. And that would be our concluding, my own concluding. Alhamdulillah, one of the girls asked that we mentioned principle. Yes, quoted in the verses that my Lord related to of tranquility, women being position of repose and tranquility for their husband, love, because human beings have been created as a social being, not to be alone, to relate. Now, I want to conclude by saying that men are the head of the family. But the success of that position is largely dependent on how they relate with their wives. Somebody asked about a woman having more means than the husband. And I will say that the verse that my Lord quoted, that of Allah's sign is that He has created from yourself your mate. And Allah says we should reflect on that. Now, in that situation, I would say, as a woman, and our youth here, please lock this, men, that for a woman, if a woman finds security with a man, that makes her to be self-aware, to define as a woman, even if you marry up to 100, you will see their man. Because fine, in Western cultures, you find a man, he will impregnate up to 50 women, and they will still be faithful to him because he held their key. And what is that key? Is that men cannot compete in game of strategy. The Quran is very emphatic about women. Inna kayda kunna azim. When it comes to being sincere, okay, a woman is ready to part with her things. What a man can do to buy over a woman is to act in a way that she must always fear Allah, so that she does not act contrary to fitra. In that sense, asking for financial assistance has nothing to do with not being able to help. We have to remember how Allah has created us, because there will be accountability. So the mind is provided. Even if you go up to 1 million and you continue to say, write it down, Again, we come, she will tell you, she will wanna learn movie. So that's for yeah. Now, Allah is what that I keep telling my students, if you want to marry, go and study how the prophet related. Even as the prophet was trying, the wives were ganging against him. What did Allah say? There is no time. I want to then conclude on this note that it is very, very possible for a man that is sincere. But it is very, very rare for a man that is not sincere. That's sincere. Otherwise, Allah says, لِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا امْرَأَتَ نُوحٍ وَامْرَأَتَ لُوطٍ كَانَتَا تَحْتَ عَبْدَيْنِ مِنْ عِبَادِنَا الصَّالِحِينَ إلى آخر الآية. In those situations, Allah has to change those women. Because you see the progeny that came out. But what Allah مثلا للذين آمنوا امرأة فرعون إذ قالت رب ابن لي عندك بيتا في الجنة. She raised the prophet of Allah under the highest higher. So the power of the woman is that sincerity, because women are from men. So when a man would act with fear of Allah, you have bought that woman. And even if you marry up there, this polygamy is because she does not find security with you. She can't define herself other than you. If you are a man that you can decide to define herself with you, even if you marry 10, you still be a man. And that's the key conclusion. It's not for our fathers, so we are doing a good job already.
The bill. We cannot thank you enough, and we believe we have all learned most sincerely today. So let's say the more favors for our panelists, and we pray that the knowledge they have shared, Allah will continue to increase them and also grant them more wisdom. Let's have more favor. Just quickly before we hang up, we proceed to the goodwill messages. I will call in on selected personalities here for the goodwill messages. Honorable Justice Masoud Omiye, we will kindly permit us, as you are giving your goodwill messages, it will be on behalf of other parties. Sorry, sir, I think the sponsor of the we want to hear from all the parties on the call. But they are not giving us.
I have some instruction from Grand that I can speak on behalf of all the parents. The Department of Islamic Studies at Islamic law, Kwara, is joining a powerful benefit today. You can see that we have moved role of the airport down here. Because of the disparity party by Grandaddy, while the building is so bad. Then I can see our large brother from the area complex in their numbers here. If you know, today is the day designated for Islamic matters. And that is why they have lots of cases. Even one of the panelists has a number of cases on the docket for today. Likewise, his other landed brother. So we shouldn't waste most of their time asking everybody to speak. I want to say on behalf of the Sharia that we want to commend the organizers of this program, and like the Grand Party observed, we have seen this program and others that will subsequently come and the kind of cooperation between the airport and first. This is very much commendable. But we have a special program for this period. And ordinarily also started yesterday and last around 4. But because of the kind of organization we have for the organizers of this program, the Grand Academy magnanimously allow us to suspend the program. We finally have actually done a yeoman job on the topic, and we have all benefited from it. On behalf of the Grand Academy, we commend you for the well-organized program. And I want to say on my own that in our side of here, we look at the topic and we have seen it as it's a very practical topic. We want to employ the department to take it further than this mere talk. We have been discussing national issues and we leave this space now without taking it further into all men here. Just as we have discussed on this issue of the family matters, let us take it further. There are and the organizers among them that don't have studied in places like Malaysia, where whatever research or conference or things like this is sought to be implemented. Let's get on top of implementation in what we are doing. Once again, we want to try to organize that, and we want to assure them that any other time we are called upon, we will rescue Islam.
Thank you very much. We are very grateful. Let it fall on the chairman of Molan for his good business. I see the stand beside the already established my side. I kind of needs the law. I want to on behalf of the Muslim Lions part of Canada, comments Islamic development of South of we appreciate the economic laws you have. My God, I think you are all adults educating us beyond our age. And on that, what we have done to ensure that this discussion is spent out in the outer world. I have one of these here. My Lord calling come to the person here this morning. Honestly, we thank you very much. Ensure that this video goes viral to the outside. People have a lot of things to that. And my point is talking to write the paper on this and we are discussing. Okay, let me just say the line is the issue of my manager for the if you and I know the connectivity between the hands of the farmer and his farm, we all appreciate how better we should have been in farmer to our wives and the family. I tend to appreciate this because my late father, yesterday, his father was a migrant and successful farmer. And who wants to have the growing and to have growing crops in the farm and to know how to look after the welfare of those things, not to allow it to come and finish because that's what our wives should do to us. Sharing the value of or 11.
They are managers. They are managers. So that one will be 1,000 naira. For it's like 9,000. My personal experience. I don't saw that. Also, lawyer, he also poor. I don't think it's yes. I told myself that to the farmer today, I make them my friend, and they have made me a king. We all say my money. I am a king, my God. What am I doing? One of the reasons why it's that. I asked the response of the whole thing of that. For example, Kwara almost of one day. The record is torí pé èmi tó kórìíra ọlọ́rọ̀ nílé rẹ̀. I am not I am not so long but the little I have, mi ò ná ẹ̀dá àtàkẹ́sọ̀ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọkùnrin àti àwọn àtàsí. Yeah, it's a very serious matter. And because of I don't know anyone here. Was for last minute when you invoke the rules of compensation in a woman. Before I was before. I know what I want to invoke the rule of compensation. You have to compensate. You have to how at home for 24 years, not allowed to do anything. You want that to go away now. You are commended for him. The last day, I want to commend our area project. As you are commended them from upstairs, I want to commend them. They are doing a lot of work in the cause of our holy tenet of Islam and the sanctity of Sharia.
So now, great. Now, on behalf of all the imams present here, I'll be calling on the chief imam of Madinah for the security.
Represented by Professor Islam and the chairman of the presentation, my lord of the chief community of the Kwara. On behalf of the panel of the highlights, on behalf of the community, state organizers in the sponsor for giving us a very entertaining, expensive, and interesting topic for topic of the we thank you we appreciate you and we pray all life God to appreciate you more. I want to observe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in the glorious Quran, titled a chapter of the Quran as Surah Al-Quran. But he has never entitled any chapter as Surah Al-Quran. And there is a deliberate reason for that, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows why and how difficult is Al-Quran in a Muslim marriage. So I want to leave that for the upcoming symposium, because majority of what we discuss here and what we exhausted today are series of thoughts from people, both at the podium and here. What I want to use as my conclusion session is that I'm not trying to as one of the panelists just said that our wives are our organic. Likewise, they are our organic. Nisa'ukum libasun lakum wa antum libasun lakum. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the same Quran says what the other. And the majority of the problem that leads to divorce is from wrong choice or false, right from the beginning. And that is why Rasulullah emphasized the issue of religion when we are to select our spouse. That's what the massacre was. If you purify your garment before you wear it, it will not eventually lead to a divorce.
Thank you very much, the one of the let me move to our mothers before I proceed. It's our honor to call on our mother, Dr. Amodu, for good university.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This permit me to stand on a city podium because the time is fast spent. Alhamdulillah for today. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. I thank Almighty Allah for continuing to be part of this occasion. Bóyá kí ni ìdá tó fi èdè Yorùbá torí pé o ti mọ jẹun fún ọdún ogójì ọdún tó tẹ̀lé ìdè Yorùbá ni mo káwọn ọmọ. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni ẹ̀jẹ̀ tó ṣe ṣe dáhùn sí ìlú Yorùbá yàtọ̀ máa lè fẹ́ẹ́ ṣe ní ìṣàmù. Alhamdulillah, mo dúpẹ́ o, and Chairman Mulan, honestly, it does make my day. Because you just make me remember somebody that was a kid that was what that's exactly the way. And I believe each every man can take that point. I don't believe in even of that God. It's the fear of Almighty Allah. Ìbẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run. Tọ́kùnrin bá ti dúró pẹ̀lú ìbẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run. Tóbìnrin náà dúró pẹ̀lú ìbẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run. Kò sí kí wọn ò gbé ṣe ní ìgbéyàwó. Mo sì ń fi ọ̀dà bí Ọlọ́run sí ọkọ tèmi tó ṣe bá mi rìn. Ìgbésí ayé kò tún ṣàtàkùn ìgbésí ayé rẹ̀ pé lọ́jọ́ ọ̀gbẹ́ ìyá àgbà Ọlọ́run bá mi yàtọ̀ sí ọ̀kí ìkọ̀kọ̀ bá ti kà. I I got into my marriage with O levels. I was like doing a big story. But I don't be like, you know, I'm standing before you. They see hate goes. He makes sure you wait me. He was on his big bed when I have to clear my face. He said, this thing should not be that. You go ahead and do your defense. He will want money from you. He said, oh, you didn't know how much I can't. Who are you? Didn't know how much I can. As a salary. We take that from you. If every man, let us parents, mothers and fathers present here, let us take it as a responsibility. Let us take a while. Ká gbọ́ àwọn ọmọ ọkùnrin, àwọn ọmọ obìnrin, ẹ jẹ́ kí wọ́n bójúṣe wọn gẹ́gẹ́ bí Mùsùlùmí nínú ìbáṣe nínú ìgbéyàwó. Ẹ jẹ́ kí wọ́n mọ̀, òun ló sọnù. Tó bá dẹ̀ ti sọnù, ẹ má jẹ́ kó ti pé tọ́gbọ́n ní me and my husband. Kò sí fún me and my husband lórí ìgbéyàwó Mùsùlùmí. Ọlọ́run àbá náà ti sọ fún wa ń bẹ̀. Àwọn ẹbí gbọ́dọ̀ lójú sí. Ìyá àti bàbá. Ẹ kó fún àwọn ọmọ ní ọkùnrin, ẹ kó fún àwọn ọmọ ní obìnrin, ẹ má tún wọn lẹ̀ lásán, ẹ bójú tó wọn. Adúpẹ́ o, I want to commend the department for a well done. They have done a very good job for this topic because this presently we are still by me and a friend of mine, we are on the issue of a marriage under 1 year. And the marriage is collapsing. Under 1 year, I was just watching the video. The lady I said, "What you have done me? You don't get along with me. What you have done me?" So that is why this topic is very important. And we have whatever you are taking out of this day, please let it be with you. You are talking to you young ladies and young boys now. That's why I'm present. You are fortunate to be here. You are fortunate to be here. Please take it. You don't want this kind of thing in Muslim marriages. You don't want breakdown of marriages. I can't believe that. I am standing here and the fruits of my marriage, I can't believe that. And one of them is the professor. Yes, what so you can do that when you are patient with your husband and you take the details of your right hand and your marital. Thank you very much.
We are very proud and we thank you for what Allah has given to produce this cinema in the person of the Professor Peter Amaloyi we'll be calling on our chairman of the event, our Grandfather Abdulaziz Kamadin, for his closing remarks. Thank you very much. The platform now.
Once again, before I commence my presentation observation on the closing remarks, I want to use this unique opportunity to thank and appreciate all our panelists. I want everyone to say Allahu Akbar. We thank you, we appreciate you for exhibiting scholarship, knowledge, wisdom to enhance our skill this afternoon. We are all saying Jazakumullahu khairan. I have with me here the submission and presentation of Professor Aziza Amawe. It has very rightly observed that the culture has some influence on marriage. And to her, she said, culture is a context for Muslims, and Islam is our culture. Professor Amawe further believes that there's nothing is wrong with our culture. We should try as much as possible to make our culture as an Islamic culture. Secondly, my Lord Honorable Justice Ahmad Abdulrahim Sai, his lordship firstly observed that Islamic law usually is a picture of the raw impact of the common law. My Lord emphasizes that Islam emphasizes more on the duties rather than the rights. So there's no rights for any husband or wife to be saying my right, my right, my right. Let me say something about my his honor, Honorable Yahya. To his honor, he refers this gathering to the issue of economic capacity relating to marriage. He mentioned where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has stipulated the role of each of the houses in a marriage. He further cited the Quran passage where Allah said, الرجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل بعضهم على بعض وبما أنفقوا. He further mentioned the Arab proverb where the saying السفينة لا تجري على اليابس. Let me quickly comment on the presentation transformation of my colleague at the Kwara Legal Studies, Barrister Abdul Latif Ibrahim Abdullah. As we were together in Kwara Legal Studies. We appreciate you, thank you. As today's examining marriage from the prophetic sayings that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, he who is married has completed out of his religion. But on the contrary, we daily toil away with the 50% of our religion. He further emphasized that we must identify some issues that making us to have problem in our marriage. Number one, ignorance. Number two, following of desire. Number three, lack of proper handling. Number four, problem of too high expectation from other spouse. Number five, problem of following the people of power. Number six, the issue of sex and intimacy as a solution. A further suggestion, general counseling, such a mosque, and all other activities of the Muslim daily. So we thank you, we appreciate you for that scholarship you exhibited for this afternoon. Let me make a very brief observation or a very brief comment toward the lecture that we have benefited this afternoon. Let me imitate other panelists. I want to also Yoruba, Kemina so Yoruba there. Muhammad. The any justice from the Sharia of appeal. See our Navy appreciate the Islamic law departments. When you can see what say, kò sí nǹkan kan tó jẹ kọjá pé a máa sọ ní ọ̀la pé àǹfààní tá a rí ní báyìí Islamic law department Malaysia Kwara University Malaysia ló ṣe all the organizers of this program akin wọn adúpẹ́ fún wọn and you say the government ẹni tí ó bá jẹ́ adájọ́ kò gbọdọ̀ dúró lójú kan àmọ́ sometimes tí ó bá ṣe wípé lórí ìbẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run ni kéèyàn dúró lójú kan kò sí ọdún bẹ́ẹ̀ torí pé gbogbo aná lápadà dúró níwájú Ọlọ́run tí a ò jọ ibi téèyàn bá dúró sí ní kí n kébí àdìsí ànábì Muhammad méjì sallallahu alaihi wa sallam àwọn kankan bẹ tó ṣẹlẹ̀ níbi tó ṣe pé kò wá practical pé a kàn lè wí lẹ́nu ní kò lè ṣiṣẹ́ àmì èyí tó ga jù òun ni kéèyàn oníbẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run in line with prophetic hadith where prophets say ittaqullaha fi nisa fa innahunna a'wanun indakum faqad istahlaltum furujahunna bi kalimatillah وأخصتموهن بأمانة الله من أكرمهن لكريم ومن أهانهن للعبيد. ọ̀rọ̀ wa Ànábì ni ó ní ittaqullaha fi nisa, ẹ̀yin ọkùnrin ẹ bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run lára àwọn ìyàwó tẹ́ ń fẹ́ sílé, ẹ bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run lára àwọn ìyàwó tẹ́ ń fẹ́ sílé. Wallahi alazim, àlámà yọ ọkùnrin bí dàrú ọ̀tọ̀ níbi tí wò lára ìyàwó ló ti dàrú. Ẹ bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run lára àwọn ìyàwó tẹ́ ń fẹ́ sílé. Fa innahunna a'wanun indakum, they are not slaves. Ànábì ló bẹ̀rẹ̀. They are your personal assistants. Ẹ wo wàhálà tí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá wá di professor bí ọ̀gá wa ti ṣe kó ìdí professor Amore bàbá tẹ tara wọn jẹ́ lọ́wọ́ bá wa kẹ́wọ̀n. Táwa wà ní ilé tí wọ́n máa sọ pé you can see my daughter to the professor. But wàhálà mélòó ni wọ́n ṣe ìyá tó ṣe wàhálà mélòó pé. Lànà bí pé nípa innahunna a'wanun indakum. Olùrànlọ́wọ́ ni wọ́n jẹ́ fún wa, wọn ò kì í ṣerú. Ànábì ní bẹ́ẹ̀ bá rántí nǹkan kan, bàbá ní sàlá tó foró jagun jagun kalimatillah. Ẹ rántí jọ́tẹ̀ ìjábalẹ̀ wọn, ẹ tilẹ̀kùn ẹ ti wíńdò. Ó dàbí ẹ bá lágbára àti mójú Ọlọ́run kó kọ́ mọ́ rí ẹ̀ bá ti jọ́nà lọ. Ẹ rántí jọ́nà tó jọ́ fi wọ́n rántí. Wọ́n akhadtumuhunna bi amanatillah. Ẹ rántí jọ́tẹ̀ nígbà wọn lọ́wọ́ àwọn fámìlì wọn pẹ̀lú àmánà. Ìyá mi ọmọ funfun kó báyìí tó kọ́ ọmọ obìnrin lọ́dọ̀ ọkọ. Ẹran ti gbọ́ tẹ̀lé àwọn ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn àmàna tí wọ́n máa fi yé pẹ́sẹ́ tọ́jú wọn. Gbogbo tí wọ́n fẹ́ yín ṣe fún. Ànábì wa parí ẹ̀. Ó ní man akramahunna lakarim. Ẹni tó bá fún àwọn obìnrin lé tó ṣe wọ́n dáadáa. Láti jọ́ta wà tó ń ka síra táǹkàwé táǹkà ní ọba. Àgọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ tí mo fẹ́ sọ yìí, àgọ́ ọlọ́dọ̀ ọkùnrin tó ní làákàyè rí àfọ̀dọ̀ ọkùnrin tó ní làákàyè. Aláwọ̀ obìnrin wo àfikẹ́ ìwé ṣe wọ́n bọ́fẹ́ ní ṣojú. Láti jọ́ táwà tí àtìrà àárín tíra rí pé àfikẹ́ ìwé ṣe wọ́n bọ́fẹ́ ní ṣojú àárín bẹ̀. Àmọ́ tá àdájú mi ni pé man akramahunna, ẹni tó bá fún wọn lé tó ṣe wọ́n pẹ̀lẹ́pẹ̀lẹ́, Ànábì ní wallahi lákàrí tí ó fi kú láyé ẹni àpárí mẹ́wọ̀n jẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ wọn. Wa man ahanahunna, ẹni tó bá wá yẹ̀yẹ́ wọn tó ṣe wọ́n jákujàku, Ànábì ní wallahi tó bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ àpẹẹrẹ pẹ̀lú ìgbésí ayé àwọn yóò tó parí tó máa parí ìgbésí ayé àsọ́lẹ̀ àdáyé. Kí la fẹ́ wò lára wọn láti bínú? Aisha ló yẹ kó gbóúnjẹ fún Ànábì lọ́sàájọ́ kan. Mistakenly, wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ a spoon according to the mistake. Mistakenly, Ànábì wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ ó wá orúkọ sálámà nínú àwọn ìyàwó ẹ̀ pé kó o tí gbóúnjẹ wá lọ́sàn yìí, ó ti gbà wọ́n Aisha lọ́kàn. Salama lọ pé ìfẹ́ oúnjẹ ó pè síwájú Ànábì in the presence of the companions táwọn tàbí ìdìbò báyìí lábẹ́ ìdíje wọn. Àìsà àti ìfẹ́ oúnjẹ tiẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ tó ti mọ̀ wípé òun oúnjẹ tàn fún ọ̀dà náà. Dídéwájú Ànábì tí ó ti wájú Ànábì tó rí pé Salama ti gbóúnjẹ wá báyìí ṣé rí abọ́ tiẹ̀ tó gbé dání tó dà bulẹ̀ báyìí. Kò sẹ́ni kan nínú wọn tí ebi wọn àtàkọ̀ ọ̀ka sí lára àti lójú àtàlẹ́bí wọn ẹ̀gbọ́n tá lẹ́bi bèrè ọkà táyé mú kẹ́kẹ́ kan máa ń lójú oníkọ́dé dára tó mú wọ́n sọ fẹ́ máa tàbí òun tí máa ń gbé àwọn obìnrin gbé yàáyí láàrú gbé yàáyí lọ́sẹ̀ ẹ̀fẹ́ délé sọ wọ́n ní kọ̀dé gbé tó mú òun tí máa gbé àwọn obìnrin èyí àárín ni wọ́n agbọ́dọ̀ tó mú kálukú náà lọ́kàn tí ń dé mọ́lẹ̀ láàrin wọn bá ti lè kó yìí ọjọ́ tí wọ́n láwà ni wọ́n ti kún fún yìí. Àyẹ̀yẹ̀ ò ṣe é tú wò téèyàn bá fẹ́ pàdé Ọlọ́run pọ̀ ló lọ. Torí téèyàn bá fi lè tú wò èyí ó sì ti bẹ̀ kọ́ lọ́nà. Ó máa di pé làyà àpapọ̀ náà àwọn olùkà màlájà tó ń náà dìbò. Tí gbogbo iṣẹ́ wọ́n tí àwọn ṣe látijọ́ ìkọ́kọ̀ àbàjẹ́. Ẹ dákun lẹ́yìn náà rẹ̀ fìtì náà fi ìdá ahmad kápá. When a problem is a general problem, ó yẹ kó fi ẹ lára yẹn. I remember when I was in Saudi Arabia. That was 2016. Mo wà ní Hilton Hotel in jẹun, mo ń ṣe lójọ́ náà. A man sat beside me. The man is working as a president in Saudi Arabia. Our introduced I told him that I'm one of the justices in Sharaf in Nigeria. So he was highly motivated. Ahlan wa sahlan ya qadi, ahlan wa sahlan ya qadi. Wallahi al-azim. The first question is from me. The first question to probably honestly, he wants to know the high level of dissolution of marriage in our country. I said, I will be not with that support. If it's in a back, you can live or you move feel around that. And it's 20 hours, 34. So, a sort of partner, the one at 34. So, I made it to a sort of partner about that 35. I don't know that. And it's not in a Ahmad's compass. So, it's in a problem, not a learning problem, not scholarship problem. Why? The level of solution of marriage in our country is 60%. The men are comparable. So, this area of the men people can do Wallahi la, only the highest the solution of the level of the solution of marriage in Makkah can wallahi la, almost 95%. It is a general problem. Kò sí tó wá lè yanjú ẹ̀ kọjá tí Ànábì sọ fún wa òun náà ní sùúrù ẹ̀wọ̀n tó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí kàkà tí ó fi bínú wájú àwọn sábẹ́ tí ó fi kọ́ àìsàlẹ̀ ó ní kọ́ ti gára sí mi òun tí máa gbá àwọn obìnrin ó ti gbé ayé lọ́sàn yìí ẹ̀yin náà máa wọ orin bàbá sì dílé mọ́tò mẹ́rin náà wọ̀ tó báyìí láti lo ayé láti gbádùn àyèwà ìdáfún àtàwọn àtẹ̀yìn ọmọ ọjà sí ilé tó káàlọ̀ wọ́n fi kàwọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ayé sábà àwọn ẹ̀sìn.
We feel what from our parents, for the support he has been giving us. This is not the first time that we have been receiving support from the Sharia Court of Appeal. So we pray Allah to continue to preserve each and every one of you. We want to believe that all of us we are better off now from this exposure. I'll be calling on the subpoena of the Faculty of Law, but before then, I want to recognize the president of the chief imam of Kwasu and the chairman of ASU, and the chairman of Kwasu, the person of Dr. Abedene. So thank you for honoring us and for being with us here. I want to invite the subpoena for the vote of thanks, the president of Dr. Kudera Nagar. Subpoena is a very good friend of the Department of Islamic Law. In fact, we are trying to bring out the department. It's especially in the arbitration and the writing in Islamic arbitration as well.
I'm here to give the vote of thanks to all of our guests. All have come with every stuff from the Almighty Allah. We give all the glory to him, so today is success. We thank Almighty God. I come to the light, and the light. Then we also extend our greetings to all our panelists, the speaker. We actually enjoy the lecture, and we have learned lots. We thank you for that lecture today. We did a very good job. We thank you for that. Then we also extend our greetings to our Vice Chancellor, represented by Professor we thank all the deans here present from Faculty of Law, represented by our Professor Israel. We thank you for being there with us. We thank all the deans here, all the universities that are here present. We thank all of you, all the HODs here present, particularly the HODs from our faculty, all the HODs. Thank you. Islamic HOD, thank you, sir, for bringing this event. It's a very good one. Thank you. Then we also thank all the staffs, staff, their presence, all the students at all the universities in Kwara State, from Adikino, from the University of Ilorin, from Level Study, we appreciate the students. I hope you learned something, and I hope you can take one of the things from the lecture. Thank you for coming. We thank everybody and we pray that all of them here will be beneficial to us and it should be there will benefit humanity in general. Thank you for coming and we wish you a very safe journey back to your various destination, and we hope that whatever we learn here, we put it in practice and it will be a good explanation for our people interaction in our family lives and other relations. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Before we close the one-to-one, so we want to take a group picture in this order. First, the panelists and the anchor, and thereafter I'll invite the dignitaries from down there. Anchor and the now, it's all the members of the Department of Islamic Law kindly come up to take a picture of the panelists. Please. And the faculty of law, please. Let's break it down. We only request the representative of the BC and the other dignitaries to really come up with the panelists. And all the area code judges, please, at home, please.
Yeah. Ẹ jẹ́ káwọn ọmọ ẹ lọ sí lọ́ọ́ jókòó tó dàbí ẹ jẹ́ káwọn ọmọ ẹ lọ sí jókòó tó dàbí láti ẹ̀wọ̀n kéré ẹ jẹ́ take more seat.
Thank you very much. So let's plan for the gospel anthem. Please, gospel anthem. Gospel anthem.
This is my other this the student from our faculty of fixed rates. One student from faculty of law. Wait.
Abali.
Afali, ẹ̀wọ̀ ẹ̀sáré yà ní.
Join that. Ah.